It's the most unique challenge faced all season. Difficult, tricky, technical. This is Pocono. The ARCA Remax Series returns, and the championship is wide open. Rookie Michael McDowell broke through last time out in Kentucky for his first career win. And now the pressure is on point leader Frank Kimmel. In June, problems plagued many here, and lessons, hopefully, have been learned. Just 10 races remain in this chase for the ARCA Remax Series title. The Pennsylvania 200 gets underway right now. Welcome, everyone, to Long Pond, Pennsylvania. It's the Pocono Raceway for the Pennsylvania 200. Uncharacteristically beautiful day here. We've had to fight the rain before, but not today. A gorgeous day for round 14 of the 2007 season. Well, everyone, I'm Rick Allen alongside of Phil Parsons. Now, when you go to Pocono, obviously you've got to deal with quite a few people getting in maybe their first race, because this is an area where we're going to see more people try to jump in there. But we've got a lot of youth up front today, Phil.
We really do. And let's don't go any farther back than the front row. We have third-generation driver Bobby Santos III on the pole. Finished third his last time out of Kentucky. A lot of talent there in the Bill Davis car. And then Josh Wise, starting on the outside of the front row, actually ran this race in June, finished in the top 10 without one lap of practice. He came right from running the truck race at Texas, so a lot of talent up there.
Right, and in the top 10, we've got 7 that have never won a race, and this is a tricky track to try to tame.
Very much a compromised racetrack. 3 distinctly different corners, all different bank, different shapes. Most of the drivers feel like you have to compromise this racetrack, and they want to be good in turn 3 because that leads them onto the long front straightaway where we will see speeds probably close to 200 miles an hour.
The first guys that are going to get to turn number 1 is who Wendy Venturini is going to talk about.
Rick, of our 13 ARCA Remax Series races, we've had 11 different winners, and it could be a 12th today. Here's why. Rick mentioned about 7 of the top 10 starting guys have never won in the ARCA Remax Series. We'll check out our front row. Pole qualifier, Bobby Santos III on the front row in a development driver car. And of course, he is being crew chief today by Bill Davis Racing, Tommy Baldwin. And on the outside front row, we have Josh Wise, also in a development car for Eddie Sharp and Michael Waltrip Racing. So 2 Toyotas dominating the front row. They're going to go head-to-head for possibly a 12th different winner. Jim?
Wendy Michael McDowell starts right behind that lead pair. He's now extremely strong in the points. 7 top 10 finishes, up to second in the standings with that big win in Kentucky. How much confidence does he have here? Well, he thinks if he averages 3 positions a race on Frank Kimmel, he may indeed win a championship. He'll start 4th today. The current point leader Frank Kimmel will start back in 19th. He had a wire physically arcing in his lap during qualifying. He thinks he has a much better race car. Whereas Frank Kimmel gone to the well to find out more speed here at Pocono. The Roush Garage of Matt Kenseth. Crew Chief Robbie Reiser, he told me moments ago, has been a big help in getting his setup on his Ford down pat here at Pocono. Look for him to advance from 19th. Rick?
Yeah, and what a great place to look for advice. Roush, I mean, they've had a lot of success at this racetrack, so obviously go to the best. We take a look at our point standings as they are through 13 races of the 2007 season. Frank Kimmel out in front, which is not something that is uncharacteristic of this series, but Michael McDowell has had such a strong start to this season. He is really a competitor for that championship.
He really is, and he wants it badly. I talked to him just moments before we went on the air here, and he really wants that championship.
Guys that are going to start a little bit further back in the field. We talk about Frank Kimmel having to come from the 19th position, but how about Dexter Bean and Justin South, 33rd and 34th?
Yeah, Dexter Bean had tied his career best finish here back in June. He finished 2nd, and Justin South, his average start this year is 14th. They both had problems yesterday and will have to go to the back of the pack.
Guys that are in the back of the pack, you just mentioned Justin South. Will ride along with him in his number 59 car as he will try to work his way from the back to the front. This is a very tricky place to do that at.
We're also going to ride along with Brian Silas of the number 11 car, the Nortrac Shell Rotella Ford. He was 8th last time out of Kentucky, which tied his career best. He starts in the 17th spot.
A little closer to the front, starting in the 14th position from Lebanon, Pennsylvania, so about a hometown race for him, is Bobby Gerhart. We're going to ride along with him. He kicked off the 2007 season with a win at Daytona. Last time we were here, he finished 10th. Guys that are going to have to go to the back because of changes made to the cars before the start of this race. You see the list there. They'll have to go back as the field now is in the hands of our pole sitter. Bobby Santos III brings the field down this extremely long straightaway, and we're underway. The green flag out at Pocono.
That's a beautiful shot looking back down the front straightaway when we see these cars fan out as much as 5 wide.
Santos on the inside, Josh Wise on the outside, preferred line down closer to the white line. So Santos gets the nose in front of Josh Wise, and they'll go 1 and 2 as they get ready for the tunnel turn.
There's the 87 on the inside. That's Landon Castle, just turned 18 about 3-4 weeks ago.
He ran in his first ARCA Remax Series race 2 weeks ago at Kentucky. Had a very strong run going at that racetrack.
You had problems with the transmission early on. There's Jeremy Clements, the 3 on the inside of Michael McDowell. Jeremy Clements runs a limited schedule, always runs well.
How about Josh Wise wanting to lead lap number 1? Works to the inside of Bobby Santos, side by side as they come out of turn 3.
Looks like Bobby Santos is going to have the momentum on the outside, and he will lead lap number 1.
This one is going 80 laps, 200 miles from Pocono. A very tricky racetrack. You touched a little bit on it at the beginning of the show, Phil. 3 distinct turns, although we've seen some Cup drivers say, well, it's 6 turns.
Yeah, Carl Edwards actually talks like it being 6 turns. Turn 1, we call turn 1. He calls 1 and 2. Then they're getting ready to go in the tunnel turn here. We call that turn 2, or the tunnel turn. He calls it turns 3 and 4. So he has way too many turns here at this racetrack for me.
Again, side by side as they're working a little bit further back in the field.
The 32 of Joey Miller able to make the pass on the 99 of Travis Quapple. That is a battle for position. Obviously, there's Justin Allgaier on the inside of the 99 of Travis Quapple. Talked to Jeff Campy, the crew chief for Travis Quapple, and he felt like they were really loose qualifying and probably would start this race a little bit on the loose side. There's a 60 of Patrick Shelter. He's also trying to take over a spot.
Shelter and Travis Quapple side by side as they go across the stripe. You see on the top of the screen the ARCA Remax running order. Up top as we are on our 3rd lap of 80, and whoa, Sheltra moving right up in front of Travis Quapple, and now Justin Marks comes to the inside with that 65.
There's the 11 of Brian Silas right there, coming off turn number 1. There's Frank Kimmel on the inside. Frank trying to make his move forward. He's won so many times. There's 16 top 5 finishes at this racetrack alone in the ARCA Remax Series.
Frank Kimmel again trying to move up from his original starting position of 19th. He's got a championship to worry about here. He's coming into this 14th race of the season leading, but only 145 points, and really the momentum has got to go to Michael McDowell.
It really
right
does. We saw for a moment Bobby Gerhart there. There's the lead. It's tightening up now. Bobby Santos, the 3rd leading. The 87 of Landon Castle. That is a Hendrick Motorsports car for Landon Castle.
At 18, do you have to work on patience early on in a race like this? I mean, Landon Castle, what a strong run he's got, and he looks like he's contender for the lead right now on lap 4.
He really is, and we only run 80 laps here. This is not that long a race here for the ARCA Remax Series, so I'm sure Landon Castle has got all sorts of adrenaline going right now, and he would love to get the lead of this race.
You mentioned it only being 80 laps. Can anyone go on a one-stop strategy here? Could they go 40 and 40?
No, they may be able to stretch it to 40, but the problem is they qualified. As we see Landon Castle go for the lead. Going to back off now as they enter turn number 3.
Poked his nose underneath the 0-2 of Bobby Santos the 3rd. Now Bobby Santos running a lot higher line than we're seeing Landon Castle, but he keeps his momentum up through the corner a little bit better.
He does. Look like Landon Castle had a pretty good run going off the corner. Wasn't quite able to get the momentum and use it to make that pass.
Earlier, we had a issue with the 11 of Brian Silas. It seems like he may have got into the wall.
Yeah, Brian, there we go. Riding with him right now. This is one of our onboards. This is coming off of turn number 3. You see, gets a little bit wide. Just made a slight bit of contact.
Here comes Landon Castle going to the front. Castle trying to take the top position away from Bobby Santos, and Justin South with problems. We see the smoke rolling out from underneath that car now.
What a horrible break. That's the 2nd engine they lost. That's why Justin had to go to the back. The caution is out. That will slow the field right now, but what a horrible break for Justin South. So optimistic coming into this race, and going to end up losing his 2nd engine of the weekend.
So on lap number 5, the 59 of Justin South will bring out our first caution of the day. The racing is underway from Pocono. We'll be back with more green flag racing right after these messages, live on Speed. Speed's coverage of the ARCA REMAX Series from Pocono is presented by REMAX. Outstanding agents, outstanding results. Brought to you in part by Hardcore Motorsports, proud sponsor of the Hardcore Motorsports ARCA Safety Initiative. And by Prescription Flomax. A few more cars making their way onto pit road right now. Again, out in front of the field when the caution came out was the 87. Landon Castle right behind him. Bobby Santos, Josh Wise, and Jeremy Clements were your top four. Michael McDowell was running in the 5th position. We still see Landon Castle out there following the pace car around the racetrack.
You know, I was wondering, the 99 of Travis Kvapil actually came down pit road the first. That's him right there in that Roush Fenway, number 99. He came down pit road the lap before this, and I'm wondering if pit road may have not have been open that early, because the rest of the field obviously came down pit road this time, or were they just that heads up and got to pit road a lap quicker than anyone else?
Well, to find out, I believe Jim Trado is down there near Travis Kvapil's pits. We'll fire that question at him. Jim, do you know if pit road was open down there when Travis Kvapil came down earlier?
Well, I didn't hear the team talking about there was something on the access road. Travis Kvapil relaying to the team, and Jeff Campy just talked to him briefly about being patient and getting these tires scrubbed in really good. So we'll find out in a moment why indeed they decided to stop here, if it was a strategic move or something mechanical.
We saw quite a few other cars making their way down, and you had mentioned before we went to break there about probably not going to be able to make it on one stop, but if you come in on lap 5, obviously now you can break it into halves a little bit easier, and you'll be able to make it the entire way.
Yeah, he could quite possibly be able to make it on one more pit stop. Again, we had qualifying, the fuel that they burned qualifying, and then all 3 pace laps, and not to mention the fact that we're getting better fuel mileage right now under these caution flags. So Travis stopped on lap number 5, so that may get him in his window. With 75 laps remaining, he may be able to cut this race into a 38-37 kind of deal and make it a one more stop. That could be a big advantage later on.
Yeah, and again, we mentioned, as we had seen earlier, that 59 making his way into the garage. That's the reason for caution number 1. He had some problems. We're seeing the 99 slow on the inside of the racetrack. It looks like he may be coming back onto pit road. And again, you had mentioned earlier the possibility that he came in before pit road was open, so he might be serving a penalty right now.
Yeah, he may. I was really surprised that he came in that early, and then the rest of the field came in the next lap. And Jim, have you figured out what went on with the 99?
Yeah, I talked to the crew chief, Jeff Campy. They said they had a flat left front tire. Now, the left front tire was an issue last time here at Pocono. See, the shoulder is all intact, but it's broken away from the sidewall. So Travis Kvapil had to come down pit road. When the pits were closed, he drops from 8th to 32nd, but this is the main reason why he had to pit early.
So Travis Kvapil with issues going into our first pit stop window. And obviously in the ARCA REMAX Series, we always like to keep safety as the first and foremost objective in this series. And so we're going to have Jim Trado talk to us a little bit more about the Hardcore Motorsports ARCA Safety Initiative.
We've climbed under the hood of Justin Allgaier's number 16 car to show you one very important safety factor mandatory in all the ARCA REMAX Series cars. This is called a tether. It goes from the jack bolt on the right and left front of the car. It leads all the way down and connects to the spindle. So, for example, if this whole assembly breaks away from the car in an accident, this tether will hold it to the race car itself. So this jack bolt plays a key component to keeping this tethered or leashed to the race car. Safer for the competitors, and if the wheel does come up, it doesn't cause further accidents, or worse yet, go in the grandstand.
Definitely a safety concern there. Any parts coming off of a race car. So obviously the tethering of the wheels and the hood, the deck lid, a lot of things that they make sure that don't get into a fan area.
Absolutely.
So again, our first caution has come out for the Pennsylvania 200 for the ARCA REMAX Series. We'll be back with more racing right after this. Beautiful aerial coverage being brought to you by Goodyear. Get there on Silent Armor Technology. Goodyear blimp flying up above today. And what a gorgeous day here in Pocono.
Boy, it really is. I've been coming here for a long time, over 20 years now, and I don't know that I ever remember seeing a prettier day here. Now, we probably have had some that were equally as nice, but they've never been a prettier day here.
We've had rain shortened races or rain delayed races here, and normally rain comes into play, but not a whisper of a cloud in the sky today. Letting them know next time by they'll go around one more lap before we get the green flag. Jim Trado, what's going on with Quapple?
Checking in with his team now. His crew chief is Jeff Campy, working with Travis on the radio. He's talking about fuel strategy right now. As a matter of fact, they made the wrong adjustment on the wedge. They had to come back in and change it. Came back in 2 laps later and added more fuel. So we're gonna ask Jeff Campy, Jeff, with the strategy playing out as it does, can you guys now make it on one more stop?
I think so. I think we can. It looks like it. It'll be close. You know, you never know. But that's usually not our strategy. But you know, maybe today it might be.
Again, with the wrong wedge adjustment, but might pay off big for Travis Quapple. Last time he was here, he won from the pole position for Penske 2 years ago.
Yeah, as Jim reported earlier, the reason he came down pit road, and he actually came down pit road while it was close, so he will have to restart from the tail end of the longest line because he had that left front tire that Jim talked about that had gone down. So it was a big break. Even though Travis pitted early, if he could have ridden another lap around the racetrack here, another 2.5 miles, and that tire actually went down to the wheel, it could have destroyed the bodywork on that number 99. And as you can see right now, there's no damage whatsoever. So it was a great heads-up call by Travis to get that car into pit road, for Jeff Campy to bring him in and not take a chance of ruining the front bodywork.
Take a look at the car right in front of Travis Quapple. That's Darrell Basham in that number 34. And on the hood of the car, they've given him a congratulations. This is Darrell Basham's 200th ARCA REMAX Series start. It started way back in 1972, Phil.
Yeah, how about that? Darrell Basham is one of the guys that we count on week in, week out here in the ARCA REMAX Series, showing up and trying to run competitively, and it's great to see him celebrate this milestone today.
Back in 72, his first ever race, he finished 11th in that. His career best came in 74 and 75, where he finished 5th at Salem. So he's been doing this for 35 years. And we are about to go back to green flag racing. The pace car will make its way off of the racetrack. Again, Landon Castle had taken over the top spot
just before that caution flag came out. So
back into the gas. Landon Castle pulling away from Bobby Santos as they go down the long straightaway.
You know, Rick, one of the things we haven't talked about, we talk about how challenging this racetrack is. Unlike the Nextel Cup Series, where they have an actual transmission rule on which third gear you can have, ARCA does not have that rule. So these guys will be shifting at least once, if not twice, a lap here. So that adds, it's like running a road course with all left-hand turns.
Turn number 1 seems like it is a very, in relation to turns 2 and 3, but turn number 1 seems like it's a tight turn. And so is that where you're going to get down into third gear and then work your way up to the tunnel turn?
Yeah, all the drivers will shift in turn 1, actually downshift to third gear. And then some of the drivers will actually shift on the long pond straightaway back up to high and then back down to third gear for the tunnel turn. Some of the drivers will just leave it in third gear all the way back around till you get just about to the start finish line.
Bobby Santos currently trying to chase down the 22 of Josh Wise. Wendy, what's going on with the 0-2?
You were talking about turn 1, how it's so difficult for a driver. Well, under our last caution, Bobby Santos' crew chief, which is Tommy Baldwin today on the pit box, was telling him right there, when you go into turn 1, you're good, but then you start to overdrive it right about there. So when he's under caution, he was coaching him on how to get around the track. But here's what's interesting. On top of the pit box today, as Justin Marks gets in the wall.
Yep, Justin Marks, we just talked about that tricky turn number 1. Justin Marks talked to us just before we came over here, and he said, you know, I had some problems in turn number 1, but we didn't do too much damage. We brought back the same exact car. Well, he's got more damage today.
Yeah, he lost an engine back in June going in turn number 1 and just did a heck of a job not destroying that car, but a lot of damage to the right front corner, probably all the entire right side of that 65 car.
Take a look and see how this happened.
That's Brian Silas's on board right here. Looked like he locked
maybe a left front again.
Yeah, locked the brakes up. He may have cut down that left front tire, and we had a lot of trouble with the left front tire here in June. We had probably 6 or 8 different cars that cut down left front tires, and we saw a lot of damage to a lot of those cars. So hopefully we're not going to see a repeat of that.
Disappointing ending to the second running here at Pocono. We'll be right back with more. Welcome back to Long Pond, Pennsylvania. It's the Pennsylvania 200 for the ARCA Remax Series. We've completed 12 laps of the 80 scheduled. Landon Castle, the 18-year-old, out in front of this field. Josh Wise currently in the second position. There's Michael McDowell on pit road right now. And the number 2, our most recent winner in the ARCA Remax Series, currently second in the points.
2 right side tires going on the Z-Line Designs Dodge out of the Eddie Sharp stable. There's Bobby Gerhardt, the Eagle Warranty Chevrolet, our Daytona winner. Won Daytona about 65 times, I think.
It seems like anytime there's a racetrack that's 2.5 miles and there's going to be drafting, we know Bobby Gerhardt's going to be up front.
Yeah, not a lot of cars took advantage of this caution flag to come down pit road. We only saw about a half a dozen cars. Bobby Gerhardt, Michael McDowell, just a couple more cars that came down pit road. Joey Miller in the 32 Country Joe car also came down pit road. There's Bobby Gerhardt making his way back out on the front straightaway.
Well, don't forget the Speed Performance Awards are coming up at season's end. Hopefully you're keeping track of your favorite moves. First half of this race season's been exciting and controversial, so who better to take a look at what's on tap for the awards than SpeedTV.com's Robin Miller.
Hi, Robin Miller from Speed TV again. You know, in the 40 years I've covered auto racing, it's a rarity these days to hear the right stuff. You know, the joy of when the PR fire extinguishers can't stop the oncoming penalty party. Can you say personality? Yes. That's why this 2007 Speed Performance Award category is my favorite. A fine wine, if you will. Officially, it's the Tell It Like It Is award.
What a run today, by the way, for the 41 car of Pruitt, and there's contact. Montoya and Pruitt come together. Montoya.
Of all the people to take you out, your teammate. I mean, that was just no good, low, nasty, dirty driving. I mean, I can't even put it into words. It's just so disappointing. We talk about it and talk about it and talk about it and talk about it in the meetings. If he's faster than me, you know, we'll work it out. He can go, you know, but not take each other out. That's just bad driving.
If I was to finish second fair and square, that's fine. But the way Robert drove today, to me, is completely not like him. I think he's much better than that. He knows exactly what he's done.
Yes, sir. A lot of give and take there. He's going to do a little bump and run here. They're going to drag race to the finish line. Yes! Kyle Busch in the 5.
What are you going to remember most about that restart and this race today?
That I'm still not a very big fan of these things. I can't stand to drive them. They suck.
The beauty of this, folks, you can decide who's whining, pining, and who really does tell it like it is. Well, this is quite true. In November, the final nominees for the 2007 Speed Performance Awards, driven by B.F. Goodrich, will be ready for the tally, only by logging on to SpeedTV.com.
You know, Phil, in this day and age, it's good to hear guys tell it like it is, not hold back their words.
It really is, and we had a case last weekend in Indianapolis that Tony Stewart kind of told it like it was at the end of the race, but it cost him 25 grand and 25 points. But yeah, I love to see that, and not necessarily what Tony did and whatever. I'm sure Tony probably regrets that, but you know, Scott Pruitt, we saw the emotion on his face. I mean, he looked like he was going to win or finish second that Busch race in Mexico City, and he got taken out by his teammate. And that's awfully tough to take, but sometimes that's racing.
Make sure to take a look at SpeedTV.com for Tell It Like It Is. This is the reason why we are under our second caution of the day. It's the 65 of Justin Marks having problems in turn number 1. He gets into the wall. Safety crews are continuing to clean up that area in turn number 1. We'll be back with more racing right here on Speed. The ARCA Remax Series, race 14 of the 2007 season. Unique Raceway, 3 turns around this 2.5-mile racetrack. Out in front of the field, it's still Landon Castle. Josh Wise, 1 and 2. Bobby Santos has dropped back into the 3rd position after starting on the pole. Then Jeremy Clements currently running 4th, and right behind him in the 98, Aaron Crocker. Now a guy who was up front that has dropped back because of coming down pit road, the 2 of Michael McDowell, Phil.
Yeah, it's not bad strategy. We know now that he's in a window that he can make this race on one more stop, and so oftentimes we see a fuel mileage come into play here, and guys able to do it, and as we get ready to go back to racing here.
So the pace car makes its way off of the racetrack, back in the hands of Landon Castle. Another great start for Landon. He gets about 4 car lengths in front of Josh Wise as he makes his way toward turn number 1. Now, brakes have got to be an issue at this racetrack also, Phil.
You use as much brake as you have getting in turn number 1. And that what looked like what happened to Justin Marks is we can see Aaron Crocker in the 98 trying to get by the 3 of Jeremy Clements. He got down in the corner. Looked like he wiggled a little bit because you use all the brakes you can get getting down in turn number 1. And then he wiggled a little bit. And then when the car actually straightened back out, looked like he hit the brakes a little bit harder, locked up the brakes, and that may have helped him get into the outside wall. But you see, oh, a little contact. Jeremy Clements makes some contact with the 0-2. You see smoke already from the left front fender on Bobby Santos' car.
So a little wheel rub now for Bobby Santos in that 0-2 as there was contact between Bobby Santos and Jeremy Clements. And now we see the 98, Aaron Crocker, trying to get by that 0-2.
Yeah, that's not something that he wants to stay out with it. The crew will determine as they look at this car to make sure where that tire is rubbing. If it's rubbing in the top of the tire, that probably wouldn't be that big a deal. But if it's rubbing anywhere on the side, looks like the 0-2 is slowing down now. He may just try to back off a little bit and here see if he can make it to pit road here. No sense taking a chance, is there, Wendy?
No, absolutely not, Phil. We will have Bobby Santos on pit road shortly. He does have a left front going down as he slowed down, and he should be on pit road in just a moment. And also slow is the 98 of Aaron Crocker.
Aaron Crocker, for some reason, when she went through turn number 1, she slowed way down on the racetrack. She's backing up about as fast as Bobby Santos is now.
Yeah, you know, Aaron Crocker lost a couple left front tires here back in June. Now, we hope that's not the case here. Looks like she
was quite a bit off the pace through 1.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that the tire's down. Looks like she's actually getting a little bit more speed under her right now. Or a lot happening right here in a short period of time. Let's see if she's going to stay out on the racetrack.
I believe she will. The Dodge Charger going back up to speed now as she comes down the front straightaway.
I'm not sure exactly what. And it looks like she's able to maintain her speed down the straightaway. So it could very well have been an ignition problem as we see the 0-2 of Bobby Santos trying to make his way around the access road.
He'll make his way onto pit road. They're going to have to do a little bit of work to the left front fender there as there was the tire rub taking place this last time by when he went through turn number 1. And again, Jeremy Clements and he got into each other.
Yeah, that tough break for Bobby Santos. So, you know, we've had some left front tire issues in the past, but that looked like that was just a situation where the 3 of Jeremy Clements and the 0-2 of Bobby Santos made some contact. And here's a couple of guys having a good run. There's Frank Kimmel. He's all the way up to the 4th position, started way back in 19th. And Dexter Bean started 33rd, and he's up to the 5th position.
33rd officially, but he had to go back because of a unapproved adjustment. They had a radiator hose that went bad in qualifying, and so they made adjustment to that. So he had to go a little bit further back. So those two have moved their way toward the front. Wendy.
Well, Bobby Santos has 2 left side tires fresh. He's already gone away, but of course, the Bill Davis Racing team pulled out that left front fender. The over-the-wall crew is the same one for Jeremy Mayfield in the Nextel Cup Series. They did an excellent job. He's back on the track, but an unfortunate circumstance for Bobby Santos.
Meanwhile, we've had a pass for second. Jeremy Clements in the number 3 car got by the 22 of Josh Wise to move up to second.
The top 3 cars in front of this field now have never won in the ARCA Remax Series, looking for their first ever win. There's a gentleman lurking behind them in 4th right now who has quite a few wins, though.
Yeah.
Josh Wise, what's going on with that team now, Wendy?
Well, Josh Wise started off a little bit free, and it started to get tighter. Said he could deal with it. That's why they stayed out on the last caution. However, he's been hitting the chip in the 4th gear. He said he's not pulling through the gears like the other guys out there. He's not comfortable with that, and that could cause trouble. Wouldn't you agree, Phil, at a place like Pocono?
Yeah, absolutely. You get so much of a variance between RPMs here. That's why these guys will shift at least once, if not 2 times. And I'll tell you, you could be a big disadvantage here if you have any sort of an issue like that. You heard the rev limiter right there on that microphone. You know, I was talking to Mike Dillon at Indianapolis last weekend. He's a vice president of competition for RCR, Richard Childress Racing, and he's extremely high on that number 3 car, Jeremy Clements. Thinks he does a great job, and he's only 22 years old, always runs competitively, doesn't run a full schedule, but when he shows up, they run well.
Jeremy Clements just in front of this number 22 of Josh Wise. Again, Clements was able to get by Josh Wise for the second position and has begun to reel in Landon Castle. Castle looked as though he was checking out on the field, but now Jeremy Clements looks like he can at least see the back bumper on that car.
Yeah, there's a battle for ninth right there. That's Philip Magilton, the 47 car out of the Bruco Motorsports stable. There's Dexter Bean right there. He's being shown in the 6th position right now. Mark Mitchell, the 93, was able to get by Dexter Bean to take over that spot. And there's the 2 of Michael McDowell.
That was that battle for ninth.
Racing with the 47 of Philip Magilton.
Cars beginning to spread out here around the racetrack now. Again, Landon Castle setting a blistering pace around this racetrack.
You can see right there the biggest movers. Dexter Bean up 27 positions from his official start as we see Michael McDowell go ahead and make the pass on the 47 of Philip Magilton to take over that 9th position.
Aaron Crocker being scored way back in 14th. Now we see the tire coming off.
That is Aaron Crocker. Oh, that's Travis Quapple.
That's Travis Quapple. He was on pit road numerous times and he's just shredded the left front tire. And so he will slow down. There's debris on the racetrack. We haven't seen the caution come out as of yet.
I think that's going to have to bring that caution out. We saw so much debris on the racetrack right there.
Right in front of us, Phil. I mean, there's some debris that's right in front of us on the racetrack where that tire began to shred on the front stretch.
Travis has to be extremely careful. What we talked about before, if that tire doesn't, you see the rubber continuing to come off. He goes to the access road to try to stay off the racetrack, but that could do so much damage on the left front fender of that car. So far, it looks pretty good. You can see him coming off turn number 3 right here. He pulls over, going to try to make the pass on the 6 of Dexter Bean. And there you see the tire go down. Fortunately for Travis, right in the middle of the straightaway, and the caution flag is out for all that debris we were talking about.
Also seeing that Bobby Santos in that 0-2 slow on the racetrack.
Yeah, that's something more than a tire issue right there for Bobby Santos. Tough break for him. Great pole run. 2nd pole this year for Bobby Santos and that Bill Davis Racing development team. Big break for Travis Quapple. By virtue of the fact that the caution came out, not a big break. You can see the damage already to that left front fender. It tried to take that fender off the car.
The big problem for Travis Quapple right now, who came into this race with one of the best cars in the field, is you can't get a free pass in the ARCA Remax Series. Once you go a lap down, you've got to race your way back in front of the leader and then hope a caution comes out so that you can make up that additional 2.5 miles that you would have to make up around this racetrack.
Yeah, Travis may not have lost a lap yet. He may be able to get back onto the racetrack without losing a lap. The pace car is coming off turn number 4 right now. You see that Jeff Campy's guys get the work done, so he probably will be able to get back out. The pace car has not picked up Landon Castle yet. He's actually running faster than the 99 is on pit road, so that ARCA Remax Series officials will have to determine whether Travis Quapple should be able to stay on the lead lap or not.
We'll find that out when we come back to Pocono Raceway. Action returns for an all-new season. Superbikes, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific only, right here on Speed. Pit road closed, so we didn't see anyone coming onto pit road this time by. When it opens back up, we would expect to see quite a few drivers up toward the front making their way onto pit road.
Yeah, we think so. They will be pitting on lap number 26. Travis Quapple did come in. He is trying to make some more adjustments to that 99 and try to repair some of the damage to the front end of that car. See right there, Roush guys, there's Matt Kenseth's DeWalt team working on that car. It's amazing how much damage a tire will do when it comes apart like that.
Got a lot of work taking place on pit road right now.
Travis is being shown 1 lap down. And that ARCA Remax Series, I think we'll have to determine whether Travis should have been able to stay on that lead lap, because he was coming off pit road, and Landon Castle, who had not been picked up by the pace car, was coming by probably running 30 miles an hour faster than Travis Quapple. So that may be something that ARCA Remax Series may look at as they continue to make repairs on that number 99 Roush Fenway Ford.
And Travis Quapple pits just across the start finish line on pit road. Quappo looking to repeat what he had done back in 2005 on this racetrack, grabbing his only win in the ARCA REMAX Series as he takes the car off of pit road. We look back at 2005 and Travis Quappo, a younger Travis Quappo, but not too much.
Not a couple years, yeah, but he was driving for Roger Penske right there. There's Travis Quappo going by Joey Miller, who's in this field today in the 32 car.
To the inside of the racetrack in a very impressive burnout. Travis Quappo winning here in June of 2005.
Landon Castle, our race leader, is in. 4 tires, a slight air pressure adjustment. He's a bit tight in turn 3. They cautioned him about the transmission leaving the pit area. He had transmission issues in his first race at Kentucky. Down to Wendy.
For 4 tires and fuel, tight in the center, loose off the throttle. He's already gone and away. They made an air pressure adjustment, and also around in the right rear, looking at the 3 of Jeremy Clements, who has a little bit longer stop. ARCA called down to them, said they needed to fix the right rear bumper that comes along the quarter panel. They had damage and it was flapping. ARCA REMAX Series was not happy with that. They will make that adjustment, causing a little bit longer stop for Jeremy Clements, and now he has stalled the car. He refires it and he's away.
Yeah, Wendy, that damage came from the contact with the 0-2 of Bobby Santos III. That's what cut down Bobby Santos' left front tire. Jeremy Clements did not affect the performance of the car because he was running second when this caution came out. But the ARCA REMAX officials decided to make him make sure that rear bumper, rear fascia was attached. So didn't want that thing to be flapping here at 200 miles an hour on the straightaways.
Phil, this has been a long caution. We talk about this being a fuel mileage race. We've already gone about 4 laps of caution around here. 4 laps of caution here is 10 miles. Yeah, I mean, that will help out with your fuel mileage.
Absolutely. And you probably get about twice as good a fuel mileage under a caution as you would under green flag conditions. But, you know, obviously we're on lap number 26. The majority of the field came in this caution flag. They will not be able to make it the rest of the way, obviously, but they will be able to make it on one more pit stop for sure. As you can see, Travis Quappo continuing to make adjustments on that number 99 car. They were looking at the toe end right there to make sure that that tire didn't affect the toe end. There's Frank Kimmel's crew right there looking at his Hoosier tires that they took off this car. Frank had a nice gain from way back where he started.
Safety crews continuing to clean up the racetrack, making it safe for all the competitors. We'll be back with more racing from Pocono right after this. We flash back about 2 months ago, right here at Pocono. Tires were the issue here, Phil.
There's Patrick Shelter right there in the 60 car. He loses a left front tire. There's Chad McCumbee, our eventual winner, losing a left front tire early in the race. There's Johnny Sauter doing a one-off deal in Country Joe car. He loses a left front tire. There was about 6 or 8 left front tires that we lost here. And as you see, Chad McCumbee goes ahead and wins this race. But Travis Quappo is one of the guys that has had trouble with a left front tire here, Jim. See our pit summary right there. Landon Castle came in first, came out there. Several cars stayed on the racetrack that time. That's why Landon Castle was not able to get out any closer to the front. You see Jeremy Clements when he talked about all the repairs he had to make to the right rear corner of his car. But Jim, let's take a look at those tires down there, Jim.
Well, Phil, this is a brand new Hoosier radial tire that's in Landon Castle's pit. What Frank Kimmel told me before the race, because of the tire issues they had yesterday and in June, he went from a very aggressive 11-degree camber setup where the tires stood up more, maybe a 7.5-degree angle, to try to prevent that shoulder wear that we're finding perhaps on Travis Quappo and other race cars. Now, Phil, he told me it might be a bit slower, but it's got to be safer, right?
Well, it is, Jim, and you're exactly right on that. You know, it's a nice handling tool. The more you can lean that tire in, the better that car is going to turn. But you're going to pay a price for that. And, you know, this is the same tire that Hoosier had here in June. So we had a little bit of advance notice that there could be a problem. Talked to a lot of the crew chiefs and the drivers in the garage area. And just as Jim was saying, a lot of those guys were not leaning as hard on the camber on these cars or letting the air pressure down. That's another one of the tools that the teams will use to make that car turn better is less air pressure. So when you do less air pressure and a lot of camber, then you may see situations like we saw with the 99 of Travis Quappo here. Wendy.
Phil, we were checking out the right front tires as they came off the car on these last round of pit stops. Now, the guy I was covering, the 22 of Josh Wise, no problems on his right front tire. Now, on the other side of pit road, I had Bobby Gearhart, who's running for points, of course. Billy Gearhart, his crew chief, said they were a little bit concerned about the right front tire. They came in earlier in the day at lap 13 and wanted to check those right side tires, but he said everything looks good for Bobby Gearhart.
And obviously you're going to want to keep your eye on that. If you're only going to come down pit road twice, you want to make sure that that tire wear is even. And if it's not, what are the things you can do? I mean, your hands are a little bit tied with the setup you put in the car.
Yeah, you really are. Only thing you can do basically is put more air pressure in, and that will help. You cannot affect the camber during a race. It would take too long to do that, but you can put a little air pressure in, and that will minimize the risk you have. As we see Mike Harmon, he's one of the cars that stayed out when the caution flag came out. He inherited the lead, but he is on pit road right now. And right now we have the one of Dominic Casolo leading the race, and he actually has a new to him, a new Roush Fenway car they purchased last week, and a Roush Yates engine. So he's got a nice package here, and he's got the lead right now.
His best finish, and we're talking about Dominic Casola, who's out in front of the field right now, that number 1. His best finish is at this racetrack back when we were here in June, where he finished in the 14th spot.
Yeah, he's just getting better and better and better. Did not run the race at Daytona earlier this year, has run every race since. And Dominic's doing a great job here. Inherited the lead, a little bit of different pit strategies than some of the other guys that pitted on this caution flag. There's a guy running second right now, the 48. You can see right behind Dominic Casola. That is James Hilton.
James Harvey Hilton. James is a little bit, I guess you'd call him an elder statesman of the sport.
He actually finished second in the NASCAR Grand National at the time points probably 2 or 3 times back in the 60s. I remember in 1966, 65 or 66, James Hilton was a NASCAR Grand National Rookie of the Year, and here he is some 40 years later.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier about 1972 being the year that Darrell Basham started his ARCA REMAX Series career. Well, the 48 of James Harvey Hilton, he's over 72 years old and still out here racing on this racetrack.
How about that? Tried to make the Daytona 500 this year, had a real good shot at it during one of the Gatorade duels, wasn't quite able to make that race, but he obviously would have set a record of being the oldest driver ever to start the Daytona 500. Didn't get it done, but got a good run going here today.
Sure does. Right behind him, Adam Edwards in the number 62. We've got a few cars that are staying out on the racetrack using pit strategy right now for track position. Pace car will come off of the racing surface, and now it's back in the hands of Dominic Casola as the green flag flies once again at Pocono. Phil, I would guess this is the time when we're going to see some cars move toward the front.
Just like that number 87 of Landon Castle. He made it 3 wide there, got by a couple cars. See him on the inside right now. Joey Miller got by him, the 32 Country Joe's car. Now he's going to get by, make it 3 wide in turn 1.
Using those fresher tires to the inside of the racetrack he goes. Landon Castle trying to take the top spot back, but he's got Michael McDowell right in front of him.
And Dominic Casola is still our leader right now. That battle is for second between Michael McDowell, who did not pit on this caution flag. He pitted back on lap number 13. A little different pit strategy. He can still probably make this race on one more pit stop, just like all these guys that pitted on this caution flag. There's A.J. Hendrickson, that 50 Bobby Jones car, making a move on the bottom, trying to get underneath the 46 of Frank Kimmel.
Completed 30 of the 80 scheduled laps. And again, it's side-by-side racing. Fanning out, you see the dashed lines on the front straightaway. I mean, it's 5 wide. 5 lanes of racing that they can run here on this racetrack.
There's the 2 of Michael McDowell was able to get by the Dominic Casola car for the lead. And here comes Landon Castle on the inside.
This is a battle for the lead. McDowell on the outside, Landon Castle on the inside. Castle with the preferred line. We'll see if Michael McDowell can hold his momentum up on the outside.
Pretty much a give and take corner here. Michael McDowell did a good job backing off, letting Landon Castle get through the tunnel turn single file. You know, we talk about James Hilton 40 years ago. You add up the ages of Landon Castle and the 2 of Michael McDowell, that adds up to 40.
Yeah, you get to 40.
You get to 40. We could add several drivers' ages together and not get to James Harvey Hilton's age of 72.
Could you imagine Landon Castle at the age of 18 right now, with all the experience that James Harvey Hilton has under his belt. Landon Castle, a very talented young driver. Boy, he would be lethal.
Yeah, there's Erin Crocker on the inside making a nice move on the 47 of Hilton Magilton. Now she's going after the #1 of Dominic Casola for the 5th position.
Again, Erin Crocker had slowed earlier in this race. We saw her battling up towards the top 5. She slowed as she came out of turn #1, dropped way back. We think that problem has been solved, and so now she's back in the hunt trying to race here, looking for her first win in the ARCA Remax Series.
Had been second 3 times, knocking on the door. Wasn't able to get the pass made on Philip Magilton. He was able to get back by on the outside. You see Frank Kimmel. Is Frank going to run through the middle of those, make it 3 wide coming off turn #3?
Door gets closed on Frank Kimmel as they continue to be 2 wide. Philip Magilton on the outside, Erin Crocker on the inside. Crocker in that white number 98.
Here comes Jeremy Clements on the inside, also going to bring A.J. Hendrickson with him.
See back there the Pork Ford. Frank Kimmel in that number 46. So many wins, such success. 69 career wins for Frank Kimmel. 8 championships.
Okay, that Jeremy, there's the 34, Darrell Basham. Slow on the racetrack. What a tough break for start number 200 for Darrell Basham.
And he looks as though he's slow enough, but still will make it onto pit road. So they stay green. We've completed 33 laps here at Pocono. Again, 80 scheduled for the day. Out in front, Landon Castle once again. To say a storm is brewing in Formula One is an understatement. Fernando Alonso has found his pace and sits just 2 points behind teammate and rookie sensation Lewis Hamilton. Can Ferrari close the gap, or McLaren run away with the title? Don't miss the Hungarian Grand Prix tomorrow, 7:30 a.m. Eastern, 4:30 a.m. Pacific, live on Speed. That's awful early, but those of you that are going to want to tune in, you're going to want to click the TVs on. Maybe you can put it on record right here on Speed. 4:30 a.m. Pacific. That's an early start.
Got a good battle for second brewing between Michael McDowell. Teammates, actually, Michael McDowell and Josh Wise. There's another good battle right there. Frank Kimmel's in the middle of that battle. He tried to move to the inside of the #1 of Dominic Casola. There's Brian Salas.
Oh, look at this. Yeah. Travis Kvapil again with problems. He's on that access road as he makes his way through turn 3.
This is just about going to do it, I think, for Travis Kvapil. Look at this battle right here. There's Frank Kimmel, Dominic Casola, Brian Silas. That's a battle right now for the 11th position. Frank Kimmel has it, and the rest of those cars are wanted.
Chasing Frank Kimmel around the racetrack. Again, on the restart, it was Dominic Casola who was out in front of the field earlier. Landon Castle's taken over the lead. Oh, problems with Patrick Shelton in that 60. Into the infield he goes, and the caution will come out once again.
Looks like he got a little sideways down in turn #1. Did not make any contact. It doesn't appear with anything. Has the car refired. He was running up in the 15th position, so he will be able to get back on the racetrack without losing a lap.
Unfortunate for the 60 of Patrick Shelton. You see a little bit of damage there to the valance on the front left.
Oh,
a lot of
Gerhart.
damage for Bobby Gerhart. Look at the left front down for him.
Yeah, left front tire. Talked to Bobby, and he was not leaning on this left front tire at all, worrying about this exact type of thing.
And he has no rubber left on that left front.
No,
I mean,
doing a lot of damage.
there.
A lot of damage to that Eagle warranty car. You think it sounds bad from here? You should be inside that car. Look at all the damage to that left front fender, Rick.
On pit road is Bobby Gerhart, trying not to lose a lap as he makes his way toward his pit stall.
The 99 of Travis Kvapil is also on pit road. You can see him right there, right behind the 5 of Bobby Gerhart.
Problems with the 48 of James Hilton. He's actually blocking the access road right now. He's in the middle of turn #3. Wendy, what's going on with the Gerharts?
You see Bobby Gerhart is on the left front tire, on the wheel actually, and Billy Gerhart screaming, get the tire off, get the tire off. A little bit of miscommunication, but extensive damage. There's a fire under there. They're gonna need a fire extinguisher.
No, they just need to get that tire on there.
There we go, that's all it was. The tire was just burning. They got the new tire on, but they do need to fix that left front fender right there. He's going to roll off for now.
Let's take a look at why we have had this fourth caution of the day come out at Pocono.
See, Patrick Shelton was on the inside, got a little bit loose, had to chase the car up the hill, made a little contact with a 6 of Dexter Bean, and did a good job saving that car, not letting it get out on the outside wall.
Kept it on the infield, also not letting it get back up on the racetrack and into traffic.
Another view, just got a little bit loose down there. A lot of times the car on the inside will lose some air off that rear spoiler. We talk about it all the time. He lost a little air on the rear spoiler, got a little bit loose, had to chase it up the. Here's Bobby Garrett. Watch and listen to this.
That was right in front of Bobby Gerhardt.
And Bobby is going to lose the left front tire here just in a matter of moments.
Going down the backstretch, and right there. As much of a backstretch as you can have. Long Pond straightaway. That tire blows. The left front tire goes away for Bobby Gerhardt. Frank Kimmel on pit road now in the number 46.
I can call it for.
Jim, fire away, buddy.
Down at Patrick Shelter's pit again. Their worries about the tires and keeping the clearance. Again, he qualified 9th. He's up to 8th in the point standings, guys. This is a World of Outlaw driven late model guy. He just won in Lawrenceburg, Indiana Thursday night. So this is only his 15th pavement race. I thought maybe coming back to this racetrack, as he commented, it's greasier. I can drive this car loose, but his crew reminded him, not that loose, Patrick. 4 tires, he's down in the way. Frank Kimmel also not happy with his tire wear. That's why he came down and changed all 4. The tires just weren't suiting his schedule right now.
Top of the screen, you see 40 of 80. We're at the halfway point of this race. We've completed 39. We're on the 40th lap. As the field makes its way around this racetrack, the safety crews continuing to clean up the debris left on the track. Speed's coverage of the ARCA Remax Series from Pocono is brought to you by Hardcore Motorsports, proud sponsor of the Hardcore Motorsports ARCA Safety Initiative.
Well, would I like to get really good fuel mileage in this race and not have an issue with my left front tire, and I would be stopping right now, but
topping off
here. You give 1 to go, then I'm going to hit pit road here and say if we go green the rest of the way, even if the caution comes out, I might stay out for track position.
Jim Trado, what's going on with the 87 and 2?
Well, guys, I was checking on the report before the caution flag, and the 87, the Stanley Tool Chevy of Landon Castle, they reported to me that they could go to about lap 62 on fuel of 80. I checked in with Michael McDowell's crew, the Z-Line Dodge boys, and Patrick Donahue, the crew chief, said we're 10 laps shy. If this stays green, we'll have to come in with 10 to go. So as the Hendrick boys are figuring out what they want to do with Landon Castle, Michael McDowell's team may be playing the waiting game of how many laps of caution equals up to 10 laps of green to go to the end without having to come back down pit road.
Well, they're not going to go to the end, I don't think, without coming down pit road. The majority of the field pitted on lap number 26. So I don't think even with a lot of caution laps they're going to be able to go, 54 laps. So
right.
I think what they need to be concerned about is whether they can make it from here if they stop.
Up next for the ARCA Remax Series, it's Nashville. ARCA phenom Michael McDowell can boast about the fastest test session time at the track, but will he control the race? Well, everybody's going for the guitar. Join us when the ARCA Remax Series hits Nashville. That's next Saturday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern.
It'll be a great doubleheader on Speed because we will follow with the Truck Series.
Exactly.
After the ARCA Remax Series at Nashville. Both the same day, same racetrack.
Take a look at our race summary as we've passed the halfway point. Landon Castle out in front. There's been 4 lead changes. 4 cautions as well for 18 laps, and our average speed has dropped below 100 miles an hour because of all of those cautions. Wendy Venerini, what's going on with Josh Wise?
Well, we've been talking about fuel mileage, whether or not these guys can make it the rest of the way. We thought maybe we'd see a few guys hit pit road and top off, but not for the 22 of Josh Wise. They said even if they did it, they still could not make it the rest of the distance. So they're not even going to try not hitting pit road to top off this time. That's the strategy being played out in the Eddie Sharp / Michael Waltrip Racing Development Team.
And Phil, you mentioned, strategy-wise, if you thought you had good tire wear, you thought you had decent fuel mileage, you'd come down. giving up a third position, is that, I mean, is it worth it to come on pit road right now?
I don't think so. As Wendy reported, they couldn't make it the rest of the way on fuel. If they know they cannot make it, there's really not that much sense stopping now. Wait maybe till the next caution when they get in their window, come down, put tires on then, and go to the rest of the way from there. So I agree with them. If they know that they cannot make it on fuel, there's no sense stopping right now.
Get our aerial coverage provided today by Goodyear. You get there on Silent Armor Technology. Beautiful view here of this racetrack. What a gorgeous day. The stands partially filled there across the start-finish line.
Dexter Bean right there. Dexter's being shown right now.
12th position.
Up in the 12th position. There's Frank Kimmel. I wonder if Frank Kimmel may be using a little strategy. Looks like he's just topping off with fuel a little bit. Make sure he had enough clearance on the left front tire. May be a great strategy right there for Frank Kimmel.
Topping off right now for Frank Kimmel. He'll obviously start toward the back of this field now for the restart. But topping off now, if we don't get a caution for a long period of time, that's a smart move. If we do get a caution here in the next 10 to 15 laps, would that be a detriment to what his plans are?
Well, it may be, but he always has the option of coming back down pit road when the rest of the cars do. If that caution comes out, he will have lost a little bit of track position, but Frank was mired back around the 10th or 12th position, and he wasn't really going forward.
Right.
So I think it's a good call right there. And you use whatever you have available, and I think Bill Kimmel and Frank decided, hey, we may not have the best car today, but maybe we'll have the best strategy, and they could gain a lot of spots with that strategy if they're able to make it the rest of the way. And quite frankly, I'm surprised that more guys didn't stop. I mean, we're going to restart this race with 37 laps to go, and that's within the window of what these guys should be able to get fuel mileage wise. But what about tire wear, Wendy?
Well, we see the left front tire that just came off of Bobby Santos. The third car, you see it in the back of the pit stall there. It was a flat left front. They've had several issues today. It's been a tough day for this Bill Davis Racing development team. We also had the master ignition that had problems. They had to come down pit road and switch that earlier, fix that, and now the flat tire. So several issues with Bobby Santos today.
Yeah, Scuderia 02 is the sponsor. That was actually brought over by Art Seeger. Art Seeger Racing actually brought that sponsor to Bobby Santos and Bill Davis Racing. So had a great run qualifying on the pole, but not going to be the type of ending to this day that they would have liked.
And the pace car makes its way back off of the racetrack. And so Landon Castle continues to lead at Pocono Raceway.
Nice jump for Landon Castle. You can see the cars fan out 4 and 5 wide on this long, wide straightaway.
If you're Rick Hendrick, are you very impressed with what this young man has done in the 2 ARCA REMAX Series races we've seen? Obviously, the first one ended very short, but he showed a lot in practice and qualifying at that racetrack.
He really did, and I would be very impressed, as I'm sure Hendrick Motorsports is. And he also ran the Busch race at St. Louis a few weeks ago and did a good job there. Got taken out in an accident, not of his making, but had a good run going there, running in the top 10. So a lot of talent at Hendrick Motorsports right now in Landon Castle.
Seeing Joey Miller in that number 32. This is a 1-race deal for Joey Miller. Sold off most of his equipment, and one of the deals with selling off that equipment was, let me run one more race. Wendy.
Joey Miller has had a little bit of a rough day, just picking up a push, needs some rear downforce, really tight on that machine. Now they're off pit sequence according to everybody else. They pitted at lap 13 and took 4 tires, but here's the thing, at lap 25 when everyone pit and took tires, they came back down to pit road but took fuel only. So tires are a little bit older on the Joey Miller number 32 machine. So seeing these tire issues today, I don't know if Joey Miller is concerned about it, but we do know his tires are older than everybody else out there right now.
And Joey Miller, I talked to him just before we came back over here onto this side of the racetrack, and Joey said, hey, if you could mention back to my fellow Minnesotians, our thoughts and prayers are obviously with all the families and the people who are involved with that tragedy that took place there in Minneapolis with the bridge problem. So he said, if you could mention that for me, I'd greatly appreciate it.
See a lot of good racing all over the racetrack. It's the 11 of Brian Silas on the inside of the 6 of Dexter Bean going down in turn number.
Oh, problems with Landon Castle into the wall. Saw some tire debris on the racetrack prior to seeing Landon get into the wall. I'm not sure if it was his tire, but the caution comes out once again. It's our 5th caution of the day.
He was running such a flawless race. You have to believe that there may have been an issue with his tire to put him into the wall like that. What a tough break for that Hendrick Motorsports driver, Landon Castle. Let's take a look back at what happened, Rick. You see him go. You see the tire debris coming off right there.
Sure enough.
Yeah, it went down in the corner. The tire went down and did not have the grip for that car to turn, and made some pretty hard contact with the outside wall.
So our leader, Landon Castle, seeing the same problems we've seen from a few others today. Tire issues at Pocono. Michael McDowell has taken over the top spot after Landon Castle cuts a tire, gets into the wall in turn number 1, and here they come down pit road, led by Michael McDowell. Let's go down to Wendy Venturini. She is with Josh Wise's team.
Josh Wise, who came down pit road second in that line. When he hits here, he's going to get 4 tires, a slight adjustment. He said he needs to get off turn 3 a little bit better. They're making an air pressure adjustment and also going down on the track bar. Josh Wise is in his window. He can go the rest of the way. You see that wedge adjustment being made right there. Of course, this is Michael Waltrip Racing's Nextel Cup teams collaborating on the pit road here. A solid pit stop, a little bit trouble there, but he's down.
And just in front of him, getting off of pit road, was the 98 of Aaron Crocker. She made her way off of pit road ahead of the 2 of Michael McDowell, the 11 of Brian Silas.
Frank Kimmel also got out there, so that he was able to overcome that topping off on that last caution flag. And Frank will probably have some pretty good track position here. There's Jeremy Clements right there in the 3 car.
Again, this was the 5th caution that came out. Landon Castle, who was our race leader, had about a 100-yard lead over second place Michael McDowell. Cuts the tire going into turn number 1, then into the wall he goes, and a lot of damage to that car. As a matter of fact, so much damage that they're pushing him behind the wall now. They'll push him into the garage, probably ending the day for Landon Castle.
Yeah, tough break there, but a lot of talent. He was very impressive here, and he will have a lot to take away from this event.
Jeremy Clements out in front of the field now. FoxSports.com and SpeedTV.com form the most powerful online team in NASCAR. For breaking news, in-depth analysis, detailed driver stats, and more, log on to SpeedTV.com right now.
We do want to report that Justin Marks was able to be released from the infield care center. Checked out okay. He made that hard contact earlier with a wall in turn number 1.
So again, we're under our 5th caution here at Pocono. We're past the halfway point. Again, 80 scheduled laps. We've got 33 to go. Let's look back at how we have gotten to the point we are at now at this racetrack. Early on, it was the 59 of Justin South with engine problems.
Yeah, second one of the weekend.
Then the tire issue started. We think that was a tire right there. Justin Marks hitting the wall very hard in 1.
Yeah, sure did. Then we see Travis Bobble, that white car, middle of your screen. He loses a left front tire.
Patrick Shelter gets sideways going through turn number 1. He slides into the infield. And right after he did that, this happens for Bobby Gerhardt. He blows the left front.
Yeah, actually under caution. And then our most recent caution flag, Landon Castle leading the race, cuts down a tire going into turn number 1. He makes contact with the outside wall.
Our aerial coverage brought to you by Goodyear. Get there on Silent Armor Technology. Jim Trader, I believe you've caught up with young Landon Castle.
And thankfully he's okay after a hard lick. Landon, any warning at all for you before the tire went?
No, the car bottomed out a little bit right when I let off the gas, so I tried to ease it in the corner, and it really didn't steer into the corner. So Stanley Vidmar Chevrolet was awesome tonight. The car was just perfect. I mean, couldn't have been any better. the guys just work so hard on it. I can't thank the Busch team enough for coming, taking their weekend off to help me out and do this ARCA race. And I can't thank the R&D team enough for preparing the car in the shop. So the guys back at the shop, you know, we'll make this thing better, and we'll go get them next time. And I just got to thank Stanley Vedmar and these guys for coming to help me out.
You've got a great support crew. I saw Lance McGrew down there, Ken Howes, a lot of Hendrick overseers that really look at many different areas of the teams, coming to your aid and kind of feeling things out. When will we see you next in the ARCA Remax Series?
I think we're going to run Talladega next, so you know, hopefully we can just have a successful run there. Maybe we'll have as good of a Stanley Chevrolet there as we did today. So, you know, and I just got to thank Lance and Ken and Mr. Hendrick and Doug Ducard for giving me this opportunity to put me in this car.
Thoughts of Landon Castle, guys?
Thank you very much, Jim. And you know, that young kid, he just seems so, I guess, experienced at such a young age.
Yeah, polished.
Polished. That's a good word.
When I was his age, I was 2.5 years from ever running my first competitive lap in anything. So they start younger and younger and younger, and they do a great job. And Jeremy Clements is another young guy, a 22-year-old that's doing a terrific job, and he has the lead here on this restart.
We saw Patrick Shelter slide into the infield in turn number 1. Well, right now he is right behind Jeremy Clements, running second here at Pocono.
Here comes the gold rush again down the front straightaway. You see Bobby Gerhardt move to the inside, as well as Frank Kimmel. Now Frank ducks back towards the outside.
Billy Tanner right now being scored in the 3rd position in that 0-7.
Look at Michael McDowell on the outside, passing a lot of cars on the outside, making it 3 wide.
McDowell making the move as he was running back in the 18th position when they went across the start-finish line. So making a lot of ground up through 1 and into 2.
4 wide in the Long Pond straightaway. Josh Wise on the very inside. 3 wide through the tunnel turn.
Normally that doesn't work out here.
Two wide is a stretch through the tunnel turn.
2 and 3 wide they continue as they go into the little bit wider sweeping turn in turn 3, but it is very flat down there as we look back from Bobby Gerhardt's onboard to Frank Kimmel.
Yeah, remember we saw Bobby Gerhardt lose a left front tire. Fortunately was able to stay in the lead lap as we see the cars 4 wide again. There's Michael McDowell on the inside of Bobby Santos leading that. There's Josh Krug, the 23 on the inside. Here's Brian Silas. He's being shown in the 15th position. You can hear his rev limiter kick in right there.
Oh, problems right there. We saw Josh Krug get right into the back of the 0-2 of Bobby Santos. And so a lot of damage to the right rear. That brings out our 6th caution here at Pocono.
What a heads-up move by Brian Silas. He stayed in the throttle there because we knew that 0-2 of Bobby Santos was going to come back up the racetrack. He was able to get by before Bobby came up on the high side of the racetrack and collected him.
Lap 51. The lap we are on where this caution has taken place, and Bobby Santos III starting on the pole once again here. It's his 2nd career pole. Was mired back when he came through the start finish line. That last time was back in the 34th position.
Yeah, he's had some issues. He's had some left front tire problems, but that certainly had nothing to do with him right there. He was a victim right here. Take a look at that. We saw the 32. We were the 23. I'm sorry, of Josh Krug. You see Brian Silas just barely get by
close.
That 0-2.
Again, we were riding along when we saw this take place the first time. There comes Josh Krug and just slides up into Bobby Santos.
Yeah, I think that was a situation that Josh just got in the corner a little bit hot. We could see Brian Silas back off, and all of a sudden out of the left side of the screen we saw Josh Krug run up in there, and he just was not able to stay down on the bottom of the racetrack, and unfortunately made contact with Bobby Santos in the 0-2 here, and it's going to end his day.
Safety crew helping out Bobby Santos III.
See him get out of the car right there. That's a good sign. Pretty hard lick there on the driver's side.
Wendy Venturini, what's going on with Jeremy Clements?
Now here's what's interesting about our leader, Jeremy Clements. They last pit on lap 25, 80-lap race. They said, oh, we're good to go for the rest of the way. But unfortunately, they think they have enough fuel despite with all these caution laps. But I don't know, Phil. I'm putting the numbers together, and I'm not seeing enough caution laps adding up. It's going to be for Jeremy Clements trying to roll the dice with his crew chief, Glenn Clements, here on pit road.
Wendy, if I was you, I would tell them to forget their calculators and come down pit road, because they are not going to make it the rest of the way. I mean, now would be a good time. The previous caution would have been a pretty good time.
Yeah,
they are not going to make it.
You look here in the pit box of the 3. They're looking at their notes, and no calculator here on pit road right now. So maybe I don't know. Maybe they're just bluffing. But you're right. If now's the time to do it, I would say.
If they don't have a calculator down there and they make it all the way, ARCA will tear that car apart to find out where the other fuel cell is.
Yeah, there's just absolutely no way that you can go that far on fuel. Even with the caution laps, you're going to get better fuel mileage. But pit road is open. We saw the green flag, and we do not see Jeremy Clements making his way towards pit road. And the problem is now, if he finds out and they refigure and say, oh gosh, we're 15, 20 laps short. Well, number one, he may run out on the racetrack unless he catches another caution flag. And when he does come down pit road, he is going to lose all his track position.
Yeah, that's 54 laps. And on a 2.5-mile racetrack, I have a hard time doing the math.
I mean, that's 130 miles or 135 miles or something like that, and it's not going to happen. These engines are not restricted. These guys are making upwards of 800 horsepower, and it takes fuel to make that horsepower.
22-gallon fuel cell, and so if they think they're going to make it, they may have to recalculate. But it's Jeremy Clements out in front of the field. Next stop for the ARCA REMAX Series is next Saturday, where things will heat up in Nashville. It'll be the 15th race of the 2007 season. A year ago, it was Bobby Gerhardt that was challenging for the championship, but in the end, it was Frank Kimmel who came home winning the championship for the 8th time. Again, we're back in action next week, next Saturday at Nashville. But right now, the story is Pocono, and the story is, well, can Jeremy Clements go all the way the remainder of this race? Odds would say not possible. He'd be making almost 7 miles to the gallon, where most of the time you hear it around 4 miles to the gallon is what they will get on fuel mileage.
You may stretch it and get 4.5 miles a gallon, but I haven't heard of anybody. And obviously we've got a lot of caution laps, and that's what they're banking on, but I still don't think it's quite going to reach there.
Lights are still on in the pace car, meaning that we won't get the green flag when they get to the start-finish line. Right now, they're going through the tunnel turn. Get a long racetrack here as they're making their way around.
Let's see if we can make some contact with Frank Kimmel, who's out here right now running in the 7th position. Hey, Frank Kimmel, Phil Parsons up in the speed booth. You got a copy?
How you doing, man?
Good. Looks like your day is going pretty well. You got some good pit strategy. You're up in the top 10 now. You've got a lot of good cars behind you, but you should have enough fuel to get to the end, right?
Phil and the guys in the pits have done a great job. Yeah, we can make it to the end without any problem. If these tires are owed out, little tire issue this today, and people blowing a lot of left front tires. So we're just trying to be conservative and get to the end of this deal, and hopefully we can race them at the end.
Yeah, there are not a lot of the cars in front of you, Frank, that did not pit when you guys did. So, we hear a lot of talk that some of these guys think they can make it the rest of the way, but we don't see any way possible. But we know you have enough fuel to make it the rest of the way. And as you mentioned, we've had a pretty serious left front tire issue. And I talked to Bill, your brother and crew chief, just before the race, and he said you guys were a little bit more conservative on that left front, knowing this could be a problem.
Absolutely. When you're racing for points, you know how that does. And we're pushing the nose a bit in turn 3, and that's kind of slowing us down on the long straightaway. But the other 2 turns are pretty good, so we'll just race it to the end, see what we got.
All right, they gave the 1 to go signal. Get that thing ready and get it towards the front, Frank.
Phil, thank you, man.
And Jeremy Clements out in front of the field. Right behind him, it's the 60 of Patrick Sheltra. Jim.
And I'm in his pit right now talking to crew chief John Hayden, former competitor here in this series, making the calls with team manager Keith Strunk. Now, John, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. How are you guys on fuel mileage, and can you go the distance?
We feel like we're pretty good. We knew we could make it 36 green flag laps, and right now we're going to try to go 39 laps. And we've got a few cautions in here, so we feel like we can go rest of the way.
Patrick, as a dirt tracker, got that out of his system here. Any damage to the car and any worries about the handling of the car?
No, he said everything is fine with the car. Once we went back to green there, once he got down on the apron there, it tore kind of bent the left front, the fender, the valance, all that stuff under the car. We got all that pulled back out. But he said when he went back to green there, the car felt good, just like it was before. So, you know, we're looking for a good top 5 here, if not a win.
This is a car that Denny Hamlin drove at Joe Gibbs Racing Stable in the Nextel Cup Series. It's their first chance to have this car in race conditions after testing in Nashville with a bunch of changes. This team looking for a very strong finish.
Well, so far, Patrick Sheltra, his best finish in the ARCA REMAX Series was 4th earlier this year, actually at Berlin Speedway. So he's looking to improve on that today, and right now running in the 2nd position, thinking they can make it the rest of the way.
Yeah, I think he'll come a lot closer than the 3 of Jeremy Clements, because he did, as he mentioned, they had about 39 to 40 laps to go. Jeremy Clements, what we figure, has 55 laps to go, or 53.
54 laps 54 of racing for Jeremy Clements. He's out in front of the field. The green flag flies. Sheltra slow on the restart. Dominic Casola almost getting into the back of him as the field tries to get by Patrick Sheltra. Now here comes Bobby Gerhart making his way up to 3rd.
Good move by Bobby Gerhart. Back to Sheltra, back up to speed now on the outside. 3 wide through turn number 1. There's Brian Silas right there.
Riding along with Brian.
Here's Bobby on the inside of Patrick Sheltra. Going to bring the 22 of Josh Wise with him. There's Frank in the 46. 3 wide going in the tunnel.
Whoa, problems. Trouble. Gerhart gets turned around. Sheltra got into the back of him. Now he slows down. Gerhart into the wall hard in the tunnel turn. They start to slide behind him.
Joey
nowhere
Miller's
to go
involved
on the racetrack.
A lot of damage. Ooh, looks like the 47 came in there. Philip Magilton. There's the 07. Billy Tanner involved. It looked like Bobby Gerhart has such a bad angle going in the corner in the tunnel turn that he tried to move up a little bit to get a little bit better angle, and then he made contact. See Bobby right there. That's a hard hit in that tunnel turn there. You get upwards of 190 miles an hour on that Long Pond straightaway where there's Tom Birdie, the 25 car, Joey Miller, the 32 on the inside, and something happens going in that tunnel turn and you make some hard contact, and you see Bobby stuck up against the outside wall right now. We're getting a report from the ARCA REMAX officials that they may red flag this race to try to clean this situation up and attend to the drivers here.
Sure enough, the red flag in the hands of the flag man now as he's about to display that to the field. They continue to show the yellow, but he does have the red flag in his right hand, telling everyone to slow down. I'm guessing they'll figure out where the best place to stop the cars on the racetrack will be.
Yeah, the field has stopped over going into turn number 1, so that's where they will. You see him right there. Jeremy Clements, our leader. Dominic Casola running 2nd. Josh Wise 3rd. Frank Kimmel 4th. That's where the field will stop. But right now, all the importance right now is over in that tunnel turn, making sure all those drivers are okay.
Everyone's attention focused back on the back part of this racetrack. Again, a triangular racetrack. In turn number 2, we call it a tunnel turn. There's a tunnel that goes right underneath that turn, where all the cars have piled up.
There's Joey Miller right there standing with one of the safety workers. We see him walking around. That's a good sign. You see he had a lot of contact on the inside of that car. A lot of damage to the left side of that 32 car.
On the replay, we saw the car actually got up on top of the 32, it looked like. Joey's making his way back to the ambulance. They'll check him out. See Bobby Gerhart having some help from the safety crew here. He's going to unstrap, get out of his number 5.
At the very least, and something like that happens, it'll knock the wind out of you. You hit that wall and just expels the energy out of your lungs, and it takes you a few moments to try to get it together before you can even breathe. So I'm sure that's what Bobby's facing right now, and that was a hard hit. And you know, one of the worst places for that to happen is going in the tunnel turn. I've always thought one of the most difficult and challenging turns in all of NASCAR was a tunnel turn here. You know, that's where our racing legend Bobby Allison had a serious accident back in 1988 that essentially ended his career the same year that he won the Daytona 500 for the 3rd time, I believe, and right over here in that tunnel turn. So.
What makes it so difficult, we see another one of the drivers back out of the car. What makes it so difficult right now for Bobby Gerhart is his car is turned around and facing the other direction, and so the driver's side is right up against the wall. So you see the safety crew member trying to help Bobby Gerhart as far as how to get out of that car.
Bobby going to try to undo the Hans device. There he's. That's a good sign that he's able to do all that stuff himself. You can see him working his hands and taking his helmet strap loose and trying to get his Hans device loose. And that's a situation like that. When you have a hit like that, that's when you really appreciate having a Hans device and some sort of a head and neck restraint system that will keep your head from moving any farther than it has to. There's the 39 car right there. That's Corey Rebenold. A lot of damage to that car.
He was on pit road. There again, you see Tom Birdie in the 25 car.
The safety workers that are attending to Bobby Gerhart are actually standing between the safer barrier and the old outside wall.
That was Philip Magilton that we saw earlier getting out of his car, the 47, and making his way to the ambulance as well. So I believe right now we're still just waiting on Bobby Gerhart to climb out of the number 5.
It may be difficult for Bobby to get out of that car, because if he's touching that safer barrier, you see how much higher that safer barrier is than the top of the door, and there's barely enough room to crawl out between the top of the door and your roof. So if he loses another 3 inches or so being up against that wall, then he probably cannot get out of that car right now. And you see the tow truck is going to try to pull that 25 car of Tom Birdie away from the 5 so they can move the 5 car away and get Bobby Gerhart out of that car.
And just to touch on some of the safety issues that I know, not only, and we see Bobby Gerhart now climbing out of that car. You know, Gerhart could have got out of there a lot quicker, obviously, if there was the need. I mean, if there was a fire or something, he would have been able to climb out of that car immediately. But he had more than one issue there to deal with. He had the wall on one side. Well, he also had Tom Birdie's car on the other side.
And now he's going to walk the tightrope here on top of the wall here.
And the safety crews are going to help him with that, obviously. Help him down. As you mentioned, a hard hit there for Bobby Gerhart in that turn.
Real hard hit right there in that turn. Again, speeds upwards of 190 miles an hour going into that corner, and it happened right about the time you're going to back off going into that corner. So he is running maximum speed there. Let's see if we can take a look back at it. See, Josh Wise makes it 3 wide on the inside. It looked like Bobby, obviously Bobby in the 5 and the 60, Patrick Shelter made contact. I thought it looked like maybe that the 5 of Bobby Gerhart tried to move up the racetrack a little bit to get a little better angle in. Then you can see the 32 and the 25 and the 39 all come in there together, make hard contact with Bobby, who's pinned up against the wall. There's 47. Another view of it right here. There's the contact right there. The 5 just clipped the left front corner of the 60 of Patrick Shelter, but turned him around in absolutely the wrong place. And he's sitting right up here vulnerable right now. And these guys have made some contact, and see the 32 and the 25 get together. Then the 47 comes in. A Philip Magilton. He actually went underneath the 32 car.
At the very beginning of that, we also saw Kimmel move by on the inside. We ride along now with Bobby Gerhart. It's not over.
Wow, that
you would think it was over, but
that secondary hit even sounded worse than his initial hit to the outside wall.
Again, Frank Kimmel early on went by that accident, and Michael McDowell currently second in the points. He went by later on in the accident in the grass. Welcome back to the Pennsylvania 200. All of the drivers have gotten out of the cars. Again, there was 4 cars that were stopped on the racing surface. A lot more cars that were involved in this accident that took place. It's the 7th caution of the day. Started with Bobby Gerhart getting sideways into the wall, and then behind him, more wreckage taking place. Tom Birdie getting involved in the 25. Philip Magilton in the 47 is also involved, as we see that car being towed back on pit road, and they will take it behind the wall. One car that I believe didn't get involved in the damage was that 2 of Michael McDowell. Phil, I think we can talk to him also.
Let's see if we can make contact. Hey, Michael McDowell, Phil Parsons up in the speed booth. Do you read me?
I got you, Phil.
Hey, you were right behind we can see you on the racetrack over there in turn number 1. And tell us what you saw when you got down to the tunnel turn.
It all started back in turn 1. You know, we had some slow cars up there that didn't pit. Got fast guys with new tires, and everything got jammed up there. So we tried to go around the outside and got blocked out. As we headed down into the tunnel turn, it was about 4 wide. You could see what was going to happen. I started rolling out of it. The crashes just started happening one after another. You know, you see cars start to spin, another one piling in, and you know, we're we're just lucky we got this Eddie Sharp Racing Z-Line Design Dodge through the mess there, and it looks like we don't have any damage. So we'll get this car back into the top 3. It's a good race car right now, and we just need to get it back up there.
Yeah, you guys have had a good run here. You guys coming off, we just saw a video right there of the replay, and you went right on the very bottom of the racetrack, and cars were crashing in front of you and crashing behind you. But we know you've got a good car here in a pretty good position, and can you make it 2 in a row?
I think we can. We need some green flag runs for sure, and we need to get around some of these slow cars that are in front of us and break into the top 5 here, and then see what we can do here in the last 10 laps. But you know, the biggest thing right now is just get a good clean 10-lap run in and try to get to the front and work off from there.
All right, Michael, we've had a great season so far, capped off by that big win last time out of Kentucky. See if we can make it 2 in a row. Good luck, bud.
Thanks, guys.
You know, the good thing, Phil, is with the red flag, we're not continuing to count the laps away. So that is definitely a benefit for Michael McDowell. We've still got 23 laps of racing. He's scored right now as they went across the start-finish line in the top 15. He's in the 13th position right now. So he's got plenty of time, I would think, with 23 laps to go, as good as his car has been today.
Yeah, absolutely. And we know some of the cars in front of him, at least we think that some of the cars in front of him will not be able to make it the rest of the way. So, a little bit of attrition may take them out of the way. But I think he's got an excellent chance. He's got some lead, and he's been fast all day. Josh Wise, Michael McDowell's teammate, is also running extremely well. He's running in 3rd position. And Frank has run a real solid race, a real smart race. And he's in the 4th position. And Aaron Crocker, who's always fast, is in the 5th position right now. So he's got a lot of competition, but he's in a good spot.
One of the guys who was involved in this most recent incident is with Wendy Venerini.
Philip Magilton, okay from that wreck. Good to see you come out. It was quite hairy out there. Looks good that you're okay, though.
Yeah, we're all right. It's just, kind of upset. We had a real good race car. The way the pit strategy shuffled around, a lot of good cars ended up towards the back of the field. We were trying to play it safe, and, we just, a lot of them lap cars are up front, a lot of slower. The field got pretty mixed up with all the cautions there, and there were some slower cars in front of some faster cars and some people, not wanting to be real patient. You guys could probably see it at home. It was pretty hectic out there when we first went green, so we were just trying to stay out of trouble. That looks like some people got into each other up there coming into the tunnel turn, and by the time I got there just wasn't no place to go. The whole track was gathered up, so I just got bent up. So it's a shame for the SI Performance team. Put a lot of work and a lot of effort here, and I've had a couple bad luck races, and looks like we're gonna have to bounce back on the next one.
Hey, thank you, Philip. Good to see that you're okay, guys.
Thanks, Wendy. And now the cars continue to sit in turn number 1 as they continue to clean up what's called the tunnel turn. They were trying to pull the 5 car up on the rollback, and they will take it off of the racetrack. Then they will have to clean up the fluid that was dumped on the racetrack. You see the 25 of Tom Birdie. One of the other cars that was involved, actually the car that Philip Magilton got underneath when Magilton came in there, was that 32 of Joey Miller. And I believe, Wendy, he's come out of the care center now.
Yeah, this is good news from the infield care center as the drivers start to work their way out of the infield care center. Joey Miller, who you just happened to be in this race today, but it's good that you're smiling and you actually have a sense of humor right now. That's good.
Yeah, coming back from retirement, I guess, building houses up in Minnesota, and really good race car. The Youngfield Homes race car was really excellent. Coming back through from a right front tire going down. It's too bad, it's probably one of my last times I'll ever be here unless somebody comes hires me for racing. But I had a really good day, and this ARCA Series is a pretty cool deal.
Walk us through the wreck. What did you see through your eyes?
Well, a guy just got spun out. A tunnel turn, it's a hard turn for a lot of people, and especially 2 or 3 wide. 4 wide the one time, and somebody got turned around, checking up. Some people just don't get on the brakes quick enough, and you just have a melee.
That's exactly what happened. Good news is, guys, that Joey Miller's okay. He's going to head out, and could be his final race here at Pocono.
Joey Miller mentioned what his other job is now. He's building homes in the Minnesota area, and so with his father, developer, and Joey, the general contractor, maybe one of his final races in the ARCA Remax Series, and obviously doesn't end up the way he wanted it to, as we continue to see the safety crews working in the tunnel turn there.
Rick, let's take another view of this on board and listen. I'm telling you, it hurts. It knocks the wind out of me just sitting here watching that and listening to that.
Yeah, the second hit there, not when he hits the wall, but when he's up against the wall and he's already stopped, and then the car comes and slides into him. Remember, he's facing forward. That's like another head-on collision, a car coming and hitting him from the front. So it was a rough ride for the number 5 of Bobby Gerhardt. See the 25 of Tom Birdie making its way off of the racetrack. When we come back, more racing from Pocono. It is a polka band, but we are in Pocono. It's the Pocono polka band. Entertaining some of the fans just behind the grandstands here at Pocono, Long Pond, Pennsylvania. We move on to Nashville next week, where the music will continue in Music City, USA.
They're pretty good.
That guy looked like Richard Childress. I was wondering if he maybe plays the trumpet. We're still under a red flag condition here at Pocono, and that is because of the 5-car melee that took place in the tunnel turn. The final car getting put up on the rollback is the 5 of Bobby Gerhardt. The car that slid into Bobby Gerhardt was the 25 of Tom Birdie. And Wendy, I think he's come out of the Care Center now.
It's never good to meet drivers in these circumstances outside the infield Care Center. But Tom Birdie, you were saying that was the hardest hit you've ever had in a race car, but you look okay.
Absolutely hard assist. CGS 25 Chevrolet took a real impact, and I feel it.
What did you see from your eyes? It would look like everybody had some hard impacts.
Everybody had hard impact. Cars are flying all over, and there was no stopping. It was a melee out there.
Now it looks like that you walked out on your own terms. And any pain or anything, you look like you're doing okay though.
I'm doing okay. I've got some back pain, some rib pain, but nothing broke.
Okay, thank you, Tom Birdie. Good to see a lot of these drivers have walked out on their own, have seen their visit to the Infield Care Center, and we did see a helicopter land here, but that's all the news we have for now from the Infield Care Center.
There you continue to see the cars. They're lined up in turn number 1.
You want to try to talk to Josh Wise?
I think that would be good.
Let's
Josh
do
Wise
that.
currently in the 3rd position right now.
Hey, Josh Wise, Phil Parsons, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How you doing?
Good. Looks like you had somewhat of a view of that. You were on the inside, and Bobby Gerhardt was in the middle, and Patrick Shelter on the outside, and they made contact. And fortunately for you, it looked like you were able to get by there unscathed. But is that how you saw it?
Yeah, you know, I couldn't even see what happened there. It's definitely a crazy turn, you know, especially, you know, you get cars that come in and take tires, and then, you know, cars out on old tires up in front of you, and the speed difference is just tremendous, and that's not a turn you want to wreck in. So I hope everyone's all right over there.
You've had a great run so far. We talked earlier that you came here in June without 1 lap of practice and was able to get a top 10 finish, but I know you're hoping for a whole lot more today.
Yeah, we definitely are. You know, we've just had, you know, trouble putting the whole race together. We seem like we just keep having bad luck gremlins, you know, everywhere we've gone this year. So today's been real smooth, and knock on wood, but these guys have put some real good pit stops together, and we've been tuning on the car, and you know, hopefully we have the car that can win this thing at the end.
Josh, do you have the chassis like you want it now? You talk about the adjustments you guys have made. It. You have it like you want it?
Yeah, the car's been real good on short runs all day, so you know, hopefully you know, we can keep kind of series these short runs going. It'd be interesting to see if we did get strung out here and got running around, how this Napa Auto Parts Toyota Camry would run here on the long run. But you know, we've been tuning on it. They've been making real good adjustments. They did a good job for qualifying yesterday to get us a good starting position, and you know, just been a good weekend so far. I'm real proud of everyone over at Eddie Sharp Racing.
All right, you've done a great job so far. Just finish it off.
And 4, we'll do our best. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you, Josh.
That Napa Toyota Camry, Josh Wise. We're getting the word from the safety crew here that Bobby Gerhardt has been checked out here, and they've decided to do further evaluation, so they're going to transport him from the racetrack here. So we won't hear from Bobby Gerhardt, but he was alert. Obviously, he climbed out of the car himself and was able to get into the ambulance, but they do want to do further evaluation, so they're going to transport him away from the racetrack here. And we will give you an update if we get that before we go off of the air. Out in front of the field, it is still Jeremy Clements. Again, he was able to take over the top spot after staying out on the racetrack, playing a little fuel strategy. Jim Trado, what's going on in the pits? Are they still thinking that that strategy is the way to go?
Well, they have some confidence in their charting. The Clements Racing Engines is the business they're in, and it helps that the Richard Childress folks use their engines when they go dirt racing. Well, in this instance, the ARCA Remax Series car they're racing was a former Clint Boyer RCR car. They finished 4th here with it in June, and Glenn, you're the uncle of Jeremy, the driver, but you guys have your heads together here. You figured out you can go the distance. How'd you come to that conclusion?
Well, we've had 22 caution flags in the last 32 laps, and we feel like we're going to be really close, but we think we have a real good shot at, making it to the end. Our window's about 44 laps. So based on all the math, it looks like we've got a real shot at it.
How have you guys been with your tire strategy? I know you guys take a different approach than some teams, whether to take tires or not. I know in past races you've run to top 10 finishes by doing gas only. Is that a thought at all about if you had to come down?
Yeah, if we had to stop real late at this point, we would definitely do gas and go. Our tire wear's been really good. Jeremy does a really good job driving the car nice and smooth and doesn't wear the tires out. And the balance has been pretty good. Tire wear's been good.
The thoughts of Glenn Clements down here. Now, these guys are running with a crew that is a bunch of volunteers, but certainly looking forward to a big payday. They asked me, is there any time limit, or maybe there's a weather delay? Can we end this thing now to get the victory? They're hoping to go to the end.
Well, Jim, I tell you what, with the sky as clear as it is, the only thing that obstructs anybody's view of the sun is every now and then the Goodyear blimp will cross in front of it. But other than that, there is no even idea of a rain shower or anything that might get in the way of finishing this race. So the safety crew has taken the 5 off of the racetrack. They've put it into the garage, and you see it there as it is in the garage now. That means that all they're doing now is cleaning the racetrack on the backstretch. So when we come back, they will go back to a caution situation. The cars will roll, and we'll go back to green flag racing. Again, when we come back to Pocono. Welcome back to the Pennsylvania 200. The cars are rolling once again. The safety crews have cleaned up turn number 2. And so we're about to go back to racing. Jeremy Clements out in front of the field. We just heard from his crew chief and father, who's mentioned
uncle,
and mentioned that I think we can make it.
He's going to get the attaboy from me if he makes it. I want to tell you right now, because I obviously told Wendy to tell him to stop. There's the 39 right there. Corey Ravenel making some repairs. He was involved in that accident. We caught a glimpse a moment ago of the onboard of Brian Silas, who has a good run going. 8th is his career best finish. He's running 7th right now. But
you may call that making repairs. I called it beating with a sledgehammer on that car.
Same thing.
A lot of damage to the left rear of the 39 of Corey Ravenel. And again, they're prying away the sheet metal from the tire, trying to get back out on the racetrack in front of our race leader so they don't lose a lap.
There's Corey making his way back out on the racetrack.
Again, Clements in front of Dominic Casola, Josh Wise, Frank Kimmel, Aaron Crocker. They're our top 5. When we restart this race, there we see Aaron Crocker in that white number 98.
Aaron's had a good steady run, other than that one problem she had, which must have been ignition, because we saw her back off and looked like she was going to head to pit road, and looked like she got back up to speed, and now she's been running extremely competitively. Right there, currently being shown in the 5th position, trying to become the first woman ever to win an ARCA Remax race, and I would not bet against her.
No, not at all.
There's a good shot at Brian Silas right there. He's running in the 6th position right now.
Patrick Shelta is actually 6th.
Well,
was 6th.
It looks like that he's on pit road right now. That's why he's not on the racetrack in 6th.
Right. Mark Mitchell will move up to the 7th position as we see Patrick Shelta moving into his pit stall. A few cars on their way down pit road. Josh Wise in that Napa Toyota Camry.
There's Mark Mitchell, the Aragon Chevrolet right there. He's got a good run going. He's up in the 7th position. He was a 2nd place finisher this year earlier at Daytona for his career best. You can see it right there.
Right behind him in that number 16, Justin Allgaier. Haven't heard a lot from Justin Allgaier in the 2007 season. Currently in the 8th spot here, though. Justin got a win back in 2006. Jim, what's he talking about here today?
Well, I just checked with his crew chief, Larry Moore, the short track ace out of Indiana, and they talked about the last adjustment they made is what they're happy with. They raised the track bar and changed the tire pressures just a little bit. They're one of the teams that did not mess too much with the air pressures. So Justin Allgaier, hopefully, again, a great point day looking at the overall picture of full-time teams and the NASCAR teams interloping into this series this season. So they get a top 10 run. It'd be great for Justin, who told me before the race, we're eyeing a top 3 run to the championship. He doesn't think that he'll have enough to contend, but a top 3 is their goal now. And finishing races, he said, is what matters most.
Right behind him, speaking of top 3s, the 50 of A.J. Hendrickson, his career best came at this racetrack. Or actually, his best finish came in 2004 at this racetrack, and it was 3rd.
He finished 2nd at Charlotte back in 2003 in his very first career start, but he's doing a great job. And Bobby Jones's number 50 right there, the ECC car. Bobby told me in the garage area this morning that they plan on running the majority of the races the rest of the year, so it'll be good to see Bobby Jones back at the racetrack full-time with A.J. Hendrickson.
Some of the cars coming on to pit road. Patrick Sheltra, one of those cars we had talked about. He is scored currently in the 10th position, but that was when they went by the start-finish line. He was on pit road when they went by the start-finish line, so he will be back in the field when they come by the start-finish line this time. The lights will probably go out of the pace car.
It looks like we're going to get one to go.
They will be completing lap 59. Rob Bunker's going to take the number 4 onto pit road now. He was scored in the 11th spot.
Yeah, Rob was having a good run. You see, obviously, he probably had a little bit of piece of that accident over there in the tunnel turn, and they're going to make some repairs to the right side of that car. Kerry Shearer, the Cunningham Motorsports team. Mark Gibson, team manager there. There's the 79. Mike Cook, his best finish of the year, 22nd back at Toledo.
A little bit more sledgehammer work.
Yeah, they did not get one to go, by the way, so I'm sure the ARCA Remax officials think they need a little more cleanup over there and need the cars to run through that tunnel turn one more time to get the speedy dry distributed off the racing line.
That was Rob Bunker's car that they were pounding on the wheel well to get a little clearance there from the tire. Again, out in front of the field, the 3 of Jeremy Clements. He's loving these yellow flag laps right now, saving fuel. Welcome back to Pennsylvania for the Pennsylvania 200. Jeremy Clements still holding on to the lead role here in this soap opera that's taken place at Pocono. 7 cautions came out. We've had a red flag condition that we're just coming off of now. See James Harvey Hilton making his way up to the inside of Jeremy Clements. Sunday grassroots racing will never be the same. 1 hour, 2 new shows. Should speed pick up these pilots or take them off the air? It's launch hour, Sunday, 10 p.m. Eastern only on Speed. Jim, Patrick Sheltra, what's going on?
Well, guys, on our last green flag restart, he was in 2nd spot in that beautiful green number 60, and as he came up the front stretch, he lost the transmission. He jammed it into 3rd gear. That's what caused the hiccup on the front stretch. He now came down pit road 2 times. First time to get it out of 3rd gear, but he lost 1st and 2nd. So they only have 3rd and 4th gear, and they came back in again to change right side tires. So Sheltra trying to hang on to what's left of his transmission here in the final 20 laps.
That'll hurt him a little bit on the restart. It will not hurt him racing under race conditions, but will hurt him a little bit on the restart. But he's going to be starting pretty far back now. I can see him laying back right now to try to get going before the rest of the field and try to make up some of that difference. But meanwhile, Jeremy Clements is trying to stretch that fuel mileage.
Jeremy Clements, Dominic Casola, Josh Wise, Kimmel, and Aaron Crocker, your top 5. Green flag back out in Pocono.
Got cars all over the racetrack.
Well, Tim Mitchell in that 06 was trying to avoid the 71 of Ted Olszewski. Speaking of Olszewski, Boy, 2 vowels in that guy's name. One at the beginning and one at the end.
That's one of those bi-vowel things.
Yeah.
Brian Silas right there, the Nortrax Shell Rotella Ford. Brian's being shown in the 6th position. That's Aaron Crocker right in front of him. There's Michael McDowell on the inside, 3 wide.
Justin Allgaier in the 16 drops back a spot. A.J. Henriksen in the 50 on the outside. Michael McDowell hungry for another win in the ARCA Remax Series.
We saw Michael McDowell back off going in the tunnel turn. Did not make it side by side. As we see Aaron Crocker moving up.
Crocker will take away the position from Dominic Casola, so she moves into the 3rd spot.
She got by the 46 of Frank Kimmel and the 1 of Dominic Casola. Ooh, Frank got real wide coming off the corner. Going to allow the 93 of Mark Mitchell to get by him, and here comes Brian Silas on the inside.
Michael McDowell scored in the 8th spot now. We've closed in on 18 laps of racing remaining. Get out in front. It's Jeremy Clements, Josh Wise, Aaron Crocker, Dominic Casola, and Mark Mitchell, your top 5.
There's Michael McDowell, the number 2 car, taking another spot right there on Brian Silas. If he can beat him down into the tunnel turn here. Here, Brian hit his rev limiter as he gets to the tunnel turn.
Brian has to stay out and into the wall. Brian Silas goes. We were riding along with him. He couldn't get to the inside of the racetrack, and he goes into the wall in turn number 2.
The caution flag will have to come out here. It is not out yet, but it will come out here. Brian Silas is not going to be able to get off that outside wall. It's definitely going to help Jeremy Clements in that 3 car.
So the caution does come out now as the field will begin to slow down through turn number 1. And this, Phil, here's a situation where we're riding along with him. He was high going into that tunnel turn. I mean, that was out of the groove. It looks like he just slid right up into the corner.
It looked like he was a little bit too wide. He was giving Michael McDowell plenty of room on the inside. It looked like he got his right side tires in the speedy dry. You see him right there. He's just a little bit too wide.
He's turning hard there.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that maybe he didn't have a tire go down or something like that, because I did not see his front wheels turn like they would have trying to get turned.
Well, at the end, and we'll ride along and listen here, folks. That looked like a helpless feeling.
Yeah, sure was. Looked like the car went pretty hard, pretty straight into the outside wall there in the tunnel turn.
When we had the other shot of that with him about to the wall, his left front tire was turned hard, almost sideways, and he was still going straight. Take another look at this, Phil.
Yeah, you see the number 2 of Michael McDowell on the inside. Brian's on the outside. This is typically a single file corner. You see Michael move down to the inside. Brian just never, you do see the left front tire turned extremely hard. Now, I don't know if that's because he may have cut a tire down or he got the right sides up in the loose stuff where you get no grip and his car is going to go straight anyway, and then you're going to try to turn, do all you can do. But whatever the case may be, had a great run going, had a good top 10.
Sure did.
Strong run, looked like, and unfortunately is going to end prematurely.
So the 8th caution of the day has come out here at Pocono, and this time it was Brian Silas that brought it out on lap 63. 17 laps of racing remaining, and this is exactly what Jeremy Clements needs: more caution flag laps. If he's going to make it the 54 laps that his crew chief and uncle say he's going to be able to make it, they're going to need some more of these type of laps right here.
Yeah, every one of these laps is going to help right here. And Glenn's going to get an attaboy from me if he's able to pull this off and then run 54 laps or 135 miles, Wendy.
Hey, I want to show you the piece of paper here in the 3 pit of Jeremy Clements. Of course, Glenn Clements, his uncle. This is how simplistic it is here in the 3 pit stall. We have C's for caution, X for green flag laps. Hey, it doesn't take a calculator or much, but this is how they're calculating Jeremy Clements can do it on 1 stop here at Pocono.
It will be a great strategy. Again, he's going to have to get 6.5 to 7 miles to the gallon to be able to run 135 miles on 22 gallons. But we know he's running around there now at 50 or 55 miles an hour, maybe 60 tops, and we know he's going to get great fuel mileage during these caution laps. So I went on record saying there was absolutely no way he could do it. So if he does, good for them.
That would be impressive. Pit road is open. That's why the green flag is being waved there at the entrance to pit road.
I don't think we're going to see Jeremy Clements come down pit road. And,
He's
that's
decided he can.
That's one of the advantages to not running a full schedule. If he was in a situation where he's racing for points he probably doesn't take this gamble.
Right.
He's not. When they come to the racetrack, they're coming to get great top 5 finishes and try to get a win. They haven't got any wins yet, so it's not a bad call for him, especially now. Now he can't stop unless he runs out of gas because he's already made his bet.
Only 7 races as Jeremy Clements run in the 2007 season. He started the season off with a 3rd at Daytona. That was his best so far this season. His career best came back here a year ago when he finished 2nd in this race. But he has had a 4th and a 5th and a 7th place finish the last 3 races he's been in. 4th most recently here at Pocono.
Always runs well. Whenever they show up with this 3 car, they always run well. And it would be amazing for them to pull this off. And I don't know how Glenn was. I guess he saw how the first 26 laps went.
Right.
Because that's when they pit. My record's lap 26. He said, well, we've had this many caution flags in this many laps. Why would we think there's not going to be a lot of cautions in the remaining laps, and maybe we can pull this thing off? But he's going to have some awfully good cars to contend with. He's got Josh Wise right now running 2nd. Aaron Crocker has had another strong run. She's running 3rd. Mark Mitchell 4th. Frank's in 5th. And Michael McDowell is coming. He's in 7th.
While they make another lap under caution, we're going to skip away for a commercial break. So stay with us here on Speed. We're at Pocono for the Pennsylvania 200. Bright sunshiny day from Pennsylvania. It's the Pennsylvania 200. 15 laps of racing remain in this one. Jeremy Clements out in front of Josh Wise, Aaron Crocker, Mark Mitchell, Frank Kimmel, your top 5. The lights are out on the pace car. Next time they come by the grandstands, it will be green flag racing. Don't forget the Speed Performance Awards are coming up at season's end. Hopefully you're keeping track of your favorite moves. The first half of the season has been exciting and controversial, so who better to take a look at what's on tap for the awards than SpeedTV.com's Robin Miller. Robin?
Hi, Robin Miller from SpeedTV.com here. It's time to get angry and take it out by marking your calendars. The 2007 Speed Performance Awards, driven by BF Goodrich, will be back, and online voting begins in November. Only on SpeedTV.com. Okay, I feel better now. And so do some of these possible nominees for the Temper Award. It's good to vent. Last year's winner set the bar so far up and over the hood that we may just have to renominate him. Just kidding. Right now, there is a clear leader for the Temper nomination. Sorry, NASCAR fans, it's not Tony Stewart, although he is appearing in another popular episode of Smoke Tells It Like It Is. Instead, we've got 2 IRL champions who got a little too close on the track at Watkins Glen, inciting this weird pit road reunion not seen since Wyatt Earp called Ike Clanton a dusty cuss. Score another possible nomination for the IRL OK post-race corral, this time at Milwaukee.
I just went up to him, I put my arm around him, and I asked him, I said, I was inside you, Dan. Why did you come down on me? I don't know if he's mad, that I passed him at Indy and he got passed by 5 more cars or something, but, I don't know.
She nearly put me in the pit wall at Indianapolis, and, I certainly have no problem with everybody else on the track, so I'm sure she's just feeling the pressure of not winning races.
So wrangle up your thoughts here. The final nominees will be announced in November. Over 49,000 of you saddled up to your keyboards last year to vote on the Speed Performance Awards, driven by BF Goodrich. The Cyber Cattle Call will only be on SpeedTV.com.
Check them out, SpeedTV.com. Some pretty good tempers there. Our aerial coverage is brought to you by Goodyear. Get there on Silent Armor Technology. Green flag about to come back out here at Pocono as the pace car makes its way back onto pit road. And again, the field in the hands of Jeremy Clements. Green flag in the air. Here we go once again.
See, Mark Mitchell looks to the inside of the 98 of Aaron Crocker for the 3rd spot.
Good restart for Mark Mitchell. They're side by side through turn number 1.
Aaron fights back on the outside. Originally, years ago, the bottom of the racetrack was the groove. But all the drivers say it's gotten so rough down there. That's why a lot of these cars will run through the middle of the racetrack, and that's why Aaron was able to make up that momentum on the outside.
A couple guys running for a championship here. Michael McDowell right behind the 46 of Frank Kimmel. McDowell looked to the inside. Kimmel was able to pull ahead. Here he comes again.
Looked like Frank lost a little speed up off the corner. Michael was going to try to take advantage of that.
McDowell by Frank Kimmel now, so McDowell moves up into the 5th position.
Frank is just not able to get off the corner like Michael McDowell, not like he needs to anyway.
There are your top 5 running right at you.
There's the 50 of A.J. Hendrickson, looks to the inside of Frank Kimmel.
Oh, problems. A.J. Hendrickson into the wall, into Kimmel. Kimmel backs it into the wall. And now another accident here at Pocono. And taking Kimmel out really throws this into the mix of the championship run.
Boy, it sure does. And Michael McDowell does not want to gain points on Frank Kimmel as a result of something like this happen. But A.J. Hendrickson got down the corner on the inside. He lost control like we've seen before. Frank's going to try to get his car going. There's Bill Kimmel, his brother and crew chief right there, and saying, how did this happen?
A lot of damage, not only to the front of that car, but to the back as well. Kimmel's going to try to bring it onto pit road. They're going to try to get it back out there again. They're looking big picture. They're looking at championships. They've got to see if they can get that car up to the minimum speed that ARCA requires for them to be on the racetrack and still racing.
Yeah, there's an incredible amount of damage to that 46 car right there, the Pork Ford Fusion. Look at there is no back of the car. You have a deck lid and nothing underneath it.
Smash the back end of that car. We take another look. A.J. Hendrickson in the 50.
You see him bottom out. Wiggles. He bottomed out and then wiggled and made contact with Frank and ended up putting them both in the outside wall.
Take another look.
Remember, you get in this corner absolutely as hard as you can at speeds of upwards of 200 miles an hour. You stand on the brakes, try to get the car rode down. Then you had A.J. on the inside where he loses a little bit of air off the rear spoiler. He bottoms out. He gets a little bit loose. He has to chase the car up the hill. Frank's there. They make contact. Into the outside wall they go.
There is a lot of damage on this number 46 car, and so I'm guessing ARCA is going to take a very close look if they will even let him back out on the racetrack, because a lot of the issues now are safety. It probably wouldn't be safe to let that 46 back out on the race car for Frank's concern. I mean, they don't want to have Frank out there maybe get in another accident and have so much of his car more or less missing right now.
A lot of damage to the front and the rear. The right front tire is flat. He's going to bring it to the attention of his brother Bill and crew.
Jim, what's going on down there on pit road?
Well, the car came down pit road. They're kind of methodically looking at the car. You see the nose damage here. It's bent way underneath, right by the airbox. It's already crushed up into that airbox area. You go from there, you see the left front flat, left rear flat, and the rear clip is pretty much bent downward. They're trying to see if the fuel is staying in the car. Yes, it is. So they're just trying to see if they can just salvage 1 or 2 more laps here. As you know, Bobby Gerhardt's out of this event, so it's a big point day for these guys if they can make just a few more laps and gain some more spots in the cars that were involved in that incident. They did not have tire issues today, but boy, did he have a whole host of problems there on that restart.
Jim, they're looking at the radiator right now. It doesn't look like it was hit, but from your vantage point, can you tell, is there damage to it?
That's his brother Billy looking at it right now. I think they're more worried about the air getting in the airbox. The airbox has been crushed from beneath, underneath that Ford Blue Oval. So what you'll find is they won't have enough air to get in there to cool the car. Billy just kind of waved the officials off looking at the front end. Now let's see if he indeed christens the rear end as terminal. We'll see as he crawls underneath the car now. Walking underneath there, there's no fluid dripping from the rear of the Pork Ford. But I think Billy Kimmel is just about ready to say, hang on, we've got some life here. They're looking at the rear end now. He wants to make a look at the rear end to see if that is indeed clean. The rear fender well is not actually touching the tire, so could be where Kimmel gets out and makes just a few more laps on the apron.
Well, there are a number of cars that are off of the racetrack right now. Landon Castle was scored in the 32nd position. He's off the racetrack.
They said they're done.
Sure enough.
I'll get Frank.
We hear that he is off the racetrack and done. And so some of the other cars that are off the racetrack now, Kimmel, he's 2 laps down. James Hilton was 4 laps down. Brian Silas, Bobby Gerhardt, those 2 cars are off the racetrack. So Frank will probably end up high 20s as far as a finishing position for this race, maybe 27, 26, 28, somewhere around there.
Yeah, what a tough break for Frank, though. You know, he's minding his own business, running a top 10. Like, you know, we talked to him earlier during the red flag, and he said, we're you know, we have to be concerned with points. He had a great run going. He was doing just what he needed to do. He was right behind his closest pursuer, and then he gets taken out in an accident out of his making. But, you know, it certainly wasn't intentional on A.J. Hendrickson's part. It's one of those things, but unfortunately for Frank, it's going to put a severe dent in his point lead.
As you mentioned, A.J. Hendrickson bottoming out in turn number 1. He was on the inside of Kimmel, slid up into the back of Kimmel. It turned him around, a lot of damage to the back of the car, and then actually A.J. Hendrickson and Kimmel hitting in the front into the cars, and so damage to both ends, and they've decided that that's enough. That's A.J. Hendrickson's number 50 that's on the back of the tow truck here, making his way into the garage area. So really attrition has been the story here today. A lot of caution laps, and those caution laps could pay off for Jeremy Clements.
Sure
as they continue to go around the racetrack under caution. We've completed 70 laps. When they come by this time, it will be the 71st lap completed. So inside of 10 laps of racing to go. And with the gentleman I'm sure is very dejected outside of his car, Jim Trado now with Frank Kimmel.
Frank, you had a top 5 run there, man. You worked hard today. What did happen?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't seen the tape, but it looked like the 50 car had a little bit of a run on me going into 1. I moved over, let him go, and he forgot to turn. It felt like, I don't know. I got left reared going into 1 at 180, 90 mile an hour, and you're not going to save it. Just destroy the car, and man, you hate that. You run all day. We didn't have a very good car. It was top 5, top 10 car, and we were going to last it out to that, and sometimes you mess with squirrels, you get wrecked, and that's what happened today.
May not be any consolation, but the 50 did say he did think he got loose going in the corner. But Tuck, you can verify that, can't you?
It usually happens when your rear tires are you get knocked sideways. You just make excuses, and that's why they run like they do. Just admit that you made a mistake, you ran over somebody for no reason, and maybe that's why he does what he does.
Your brother Bill was looking seriously to see if you can get even one more lap out there to gain some points. How big of a blow is this for you point-wise?
Well, it was coming. We've had a great year. We've finished a lot of races, done very well as far as just been finishing. But, we picked up our program here today. We were a little bit better than we have been. We're struggling a bit on these racetracks, and, those guys are doing a good job. So we just got to battle all year long.
And he'll battle in Nashville next weekend, guys.
Phil, something amazing, I think, that maybe almost goes unsaid a lot of times is no one has won a championship in the ARCA REMAX Series since we turned into 2000. I mean, this century. It's been Frank Kimmel. Kimmel has been the name in the ARCA REMAX Series this century. So for him to now be in a very close points battle is very amazing.
It really is. I mean, when you go to Daytona in February to start the season, that Frank Kimmel's the guy to beat. I mean, he's been there 8 times, so he's the guy to beat. And I'm sure, Michael McDowell started off these years with some outside hopes that maybe we'll contend for a championship, but they've gotten better and better and better and better. And talking to him before the race, you can see right now, this is as they run right now, and Frank Kimmel may continue to fall a few more spots. Michael McDowell
can move up.
Michael McDowell could move up. He's close to within 50 points as of right now, so we've got a battle on our hands.
A very tight battle in the points championship race for the 2007 season. Frank Kimmel leading the points coming into this race. Michael McDowell second coming in, was 145 points out. The difference now, just 50, as Kimmel is no longer in the race. The questions I will pose to you: can Jeremy Clements make it 54 laps? Can Aaron Crocker win her first ever ARCA REMAX Series race? Or can Michael McDowell make it 2 in a row in the ARCA REMAX Series and close that points gap even further? All of those answers are coming up right here on Speed.
Well, when Jeremy Clements gets to the start-finish line, he will have run 117.5 miles since he last put fuel in that car. But he has to run 135 if we don't get a green-white checker finish.
Green flag in the air. It's Jeremy Clements, Josh Wise, Aaron Crocker, Mark Mitchell, and Michael McDowell, your top 5. Justin Allgaier ducks to the outside as he tries to take a position on the restart.
Poor Jeremy is on the button on that restart. You see him about a 5-6 car length lead right there, getting down in turn number 1.
One of the other things that Jeremy Clements has to realize is that they do not finish under caution here. They will race to the end, so this race could be extended beyond 80 laps.
There's Michael McDowell right there going for third on the 98 of Aaron Crocker.
McDowell taking the position away. He moves up to third, looking to increase that run at the points championship.
I think right now Michael McDowell is thinking first in this race. He's not thinking points right now. He sees those two cars right in front of him, and he knows he's got about 6.5 laps to do it.
He was very confident when we talked to him before the race. He thought he had the best car in the field today.
He has him in his sights right now. You see Josh Wise is able to close up a little bit on Jeremy Clements. We saw Jeremy have about a 6-car length lead going into turn number 1 on that restart. Josh is posted up to about a 2-car length edge.
Second and third, those are teammates, Josh Wise and Michael McDowell, running out of the Eddie Sharp Racing organization. Both of those cars trying to catch the 3 of Jeremy Clements.
Let's see what kind of lap time Michael can run this time compared to our 2 leaders. That last time, Josh Wise was the fastest car on the racetrack.
Josh Wise right on the back bumper now of that 3. Wendy.
It's been pretty quiet on the radio during these caution laps. Crew Chief Jeff McClure and owner Eddie Sharp just trying to get this race finished. No pressure for Josh Wise. Of course, he's the 2006 USAC champ. He has one prior start here at Pocono where he finished 9th in June. But when it comes to Josh Wise's career, it's kind of in a holding pattern. He's a development driver for Michael Waltrip Racing. He's not sure how many ARCA races he's going to be running, but he has been running some truck races for Gerald Waltrip Motorsports. Josh Wise just trying to prove himself at Pocono today.
Well, I think he's proven himself as a race car driver. I mean, I'm sure he wants to get the win here, but his career best 5th came earlier at Kansas, where he really shined there. He shined on a lot of the racetracks we've been on, and just a good kid.
Yeah, and very little experience in these type of cars, too. But that last lap, Michael McDowell was the fastest car on the racetrack, about a 1/4 of a second faster than Jeremy Clements. He still has time to do it.
Yep, they cross the start-finish line. There'll be 4 laps of racing to go, and right on the back bumper of that 3, and here he goes for the lead. It's Josh Wise trying to take away the top spot as they go to turn number 1.
He has a good run going down into turn number 1. See if he can clear him.
Takes it into turn number 1 a little bit faster, slides up the racetrack. Jeremy Clements looks to the inside now as Josh Wise had to get on the brakes hard there as he went in very hard into 1. So they're side by side down Long Pond straightaway.
Jeremy Clements has the preferred line on the inside going in the tunnel. Let's see who gives up here.
Side by side into turn number 2. Clements back out in front of Josh Wise. And while those two have been racing up in front, look who has caught them. The 2 of Michael McDowell.
A nice veteran move that time by Josh Wise to back off. There's no sense going through that tunnel turn, even this late in the race, side by side. But Michael McDowell was there.
3 cars all shooting for the win here at Pocono when they cross the start-finish line. 3 laps of racing to go.
We saw the 2 and the 22 team cars battle for the win at Toledo. Michael McDowell actually took the lead and was taken out by his teammate, but that was Ken Butler III. That was not that 22 driven by Josh Wise.
Now Jeremy Clements has put some distance between himself and Josh Wise. Michael McDowell will have to get by his teammate if he wants to contest for this win today.
Amazingly enough, Jeremy Clements, if he completes this lap, will have run 130 miles on this tank. He's got 5 more miles to go if we go green the rest of the way.
77 laps complete when they come across the start-finish line. As you mentioned, 5 miles to go, 2 laps of racing. A little bit loose for both Clements and Josh Wise as they came out of turn 3. That time across the start-finish line, half a second separated Jeremy Clements and Josh Wise.
Looks like once Michael McDowell got to his teammate Josh Wise, he may have picked up a little bit of an arrow push. He's not been able to make any ground up.
Down Long Pond straightaway as the 3 continue to pull away. Aaron Crocker runs 4th. Mark Mitchell 5th. Justin Allgaier is 6th. Dexter Bean 7th. Dominic Casola is 8th. Josh Krug is 9th. And your top 10 rounds out with Mike Harmon.
Oh, nice run off that corner for Josh Wise that time. Let's see if he can get a nice run and get some momentum coming off turn number 3.
Closing the gap. This time by. They'll see the white flag. It will be 1 lap of racing to go as they come out of turn number 3. White flag flies. Josh Wise, Michael McDowell now side by side as they go into turn number 1. McDowell knows that time is ticking away. If he wants to win this race, he's going to have to do it right here.
Josh is going to fight back on the outside. He has the momentum on the outside.
As those 2 run side by side, Jeremy Clements with a huge smile on his face.
I'm telling you, he is getting ready to run 135 miles on this tank of fuel.
Jeremy Clements has made his way out of turn number 2. He has 1 turn to go before he will win his first ever ARCA REMAX Series race. He makes his way out of turn number 3. Does he have enough fuel?
He's out of gas.
He ran out of gas coming out of 3. And guess who will win the race? Michael McDowell will win as Jeremy Clements runs out coming out of turn number 3.
Can you believe that? Coming off the last corner.
A half a mile.
Not even a half mile.
Not even a half a mile for Jeremy Clements. Michael McDowell makes the pass on Josh Wise as they came through the tunnel turn, and that was enough as he was able to outlast Jeremy Clements, who still came home in 3rd out of gas. But an amazing turn of events for Jeremy Clements.
I'm telling you, my heart breaks for Jeremy Clements. Happy for Michael McDowell, Josh Wise with his best career finish, but Jeremy Clements, I'm telling you, he came off that corner. He could see the flagman waving the checker flag, and he runs out again. Hey, I told Wendy to tell his crew chief he couldn't make it all the way.
Phil, I said this was going to be a soap opera, and right there, that is not a happy ending for Jeremy Clements.
Sure is.
What a close finish there. And a great finish for Eddie Sharp Racing today.
Yep.
1 and 2, Michael
2.
McDowell, Josh Wise. What a spectacular finish.
We had such great racing on the racetrack. It's a shame that we had so many caution flags that kept us from seeing more of that racing. But there's the guy. That's I don't know what to even say about Jeremy Clements.
Wendy, you've got team owner there with you.
Eddie Sharp pumping up his fist in the air. What an exciting finish. It came down right down to the wire there with the fuel.
Oh, 1-2 finish. It was, you know, the 3 car, my hat's off to them. They had us covered. They were the car to beat at the end there after everything went on today. I feel really bad for them, but I've been in their position, and I'll take it. And 1-2 finish, what a day for ESR and all the guys that worked so hard together in the shop. So this is their day. This is their day.
You've done an amazing feat as a car owner. You've opened up your doors, and you've taken in some development drivers. This is a perfect day for you.
Well, without a lot of help, you know, I can't do this. And, you know, with Toyota behind us and Michael Waltrip's help and Chip Ganassi's help. And, I mean, we get a lot of help from people. Ernie Elliott Engines and TRD. And, you know, it's a group effort, and I love being part of it.
All right, congratulations to you. Eddie Sharp's going to go celebrate in victory lane.
And Michael McDowell has made his way into victory lane. It's 2 races in a row. We take a look at the unofficial results. Your top 10, Michael McDowell, Josh Wise, Jeremy Clements. Oh, what a close one for him. Aaron Crocker and Mark Mitchell rounding out your top 5. Mike Harmon with a top 10 run.
Yeah, Josh Krug. Also, Dominic Casola gets his career best finish of 8th. That great job by a lot of these guys.
Let's go to Jim Trado.
Michael McDowell's climbing from his car. He called to the team, I can't do a burnout, guys. My left front went down as I crossed the finish line. You didn't think he'd win this thing. You thought 5 more points, didn't you, Michael? 5 more points to pass Josh Wise to gain in that championship. And then off the final corner, baby. Tell us what you were thinking as Jeremy Clements was sputtering on the inside of you.
Well, I just can't thank Eddie Sharp enough and the whole ESR, Z-Line Design, Make-A-Wish, and the Michigan residential guys are awesome. And, you know, it's just, that's not giving up. Just going for it at the end, and we had a good car, and I just thought, man, I got to get Josh. And I came around the corner, I saw Clemens slowing down. I said, I don't know what's going on, but I think we're going to win. And, you know, I had a bad restart there and fell back a bunch of spots and almost got tangled up in that big crash. But, you know, I just really got to thank Rob Finlay for believing in me and giving me the opportunity to do this. And, you know, unfortunately, Frank had a bad day, but I think this is going to help us in the points, and we're going to win this championship.
How much did that ratchet up for you when you know that Frank Kimmel was out of this race?
You know, it didn't really change my mindset. You know, I was here to win the race, and when I got around Frank, I just tugged my belts down tight, and I just started running those guys down. And you know, it's unfortunate that Frank had a hard day, but you know, we've had a bunch of them, and now it's a championship, and we'll see who can do it.
The winner in more ways than one, Michael McDowell in victory lane here, guys.
Celebration for Michael McDowell. Speeds coverage of the ARCA REMAX Series from Pocono is presented by REMAX. Outstanding agents, outstanding results. Brought to you in part by Hardcore Motorsports, proud sponsor of the Hardcore Motorsports ARCA Safety Initiative.
There's a 3 right there, Jeremy Clements. Let's see. He's probably not going to be able to make it around here before we go off the air.
And he may have taken his helmet off.
He may have taken. Well, let's see if we can try. And we have communications. Hey, Jeremy, Phil Parsons up in the speed booth. Can you hear me?
Yeah, still got his helmet on, Phil.
Jeremy Clements, can you hear me?
Doesn't look like he's got his radio on, probably out of disgust. He's turned everything off. We take a look at the point standings, and 15 points separate Michael McDowell from Frank Kimmel. This is not what Frank Kimmel wanted to see after leaving Pocono today. A 3-time winner at this racetrack.
And a lot of racing left to go this season, too. A lot of races left. 2 dirt track races. We've got all kinds of stuff coming up.
Dexter Bean just 150 points out of the lead now. And so a very impressive 2007 championship building up here, and we have got a lot of excitement still to go. Wendy Venerini.
Mark Mitchell, who comes home, we are looking at the board, 5th. Unfortunate ending. He was just saying about the 3 of Jeremy Clements, but man, you had a heck of a car out there. I know you were fighting for position with Aaron Crocker. Just real quick, tell us.
Just, you know, fighting for position with the 98, and you know, she didn't give me a whole lot of room, but that's racing, that's how it's going to be. So I just feel real bad about the 3 car. You know, we come out of the same shop, and they had a great car today. So just hate it for them. Glad we came home with a top 5, and we'll go on to Nashville and run there.
All right, good job to you.
We saw a lot of cautions today. It heated up on the racetrack. Actually, a red flag came out during this incident right there. Bobby Gerhart taken away from the racetrack, but we believe he's all right. Stay tuned to Speed for more coverage of the ARCA REMAX Series.